VMAT gun.
Stephen, my boy, I'm a pickle.
There's going to be a lot of
just looking
Wikipedia
at the
skimming
stream
for
right
me.
now, and none of our cameras are showing.
Is it showing now?
Let's give it a sec.
Can you see me?
Oh.
There we are. Woo! Oh. Okay, it was there for a second. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Quality standards that we've come to expect from a Lord Slav video.
High quality standards of the Lord Slug.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're gonna have this better be peak. Yeah, you're right, Aura Prime. Like, we need to put on a show. Oh dear, is the camera gone again? Oh, there, no, it's back. All right, okay, we're just gonna go for it now. Screw the camera.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna shuffle the seeding. So what you saw so far, like, isn't actually how it's gonna be. So let's shuffle it. Oh, that's probably messed up all my OBS formatting. Yes, it has. Let's.
Oh, I can see us again.
Yeah. No, we're gonna pop on and off. All right, there we go.
See, I have no idea what's happening.
Right, the first fight is between Kroll and Toberman.
Oh,
so,
no.
While I work out the rest of the settings, who would like to go through? What kind of powers do you think these two are going to have? Just for the sake of anybody who may not have seen any of these.
Toberman is strong, but I don't think he's strong enough to deal with. Actually, is it Toberman before or after he's cyber enhanced?
Before.
He's still pretty strong either way.
Yeah, he's strong, but like Kroll is the size of like a skyscraper.
Kroll is something Godzilla should fight.
As much as I hate to say, Kroll probably has this one. I don't think.
Well, let's look at the location though, because if it's a massive location, if it's like not a good location for Kroll, he's not going to be able to fit in. And so the location.
Wait, can Kroll survive on land?
If it's the location I suggested.
Yeah, Kroll can survive on land. He prefers swamps because that's where he's from. But like, he's absolutely massive. So the location isn't probably not going to help him. It's Paradise Towers.
Oh.
So he's not going to be able to fit in there.
You're just going to get impaled on one of the towers.
Yeah,
it depends on the room. If he's in the swimming pool room, like at the top of the towers.
No, Kroll couldn't fit in. I think the conceit has to be here that Toberman is inside Paradise Towers, and Kroll is trying to get to him while being outside. Because I mean, that's the only way this could work.
If you watch the power of Kroll, like its tentacles slither in through like.
Are we doing handicap?
Right. So no,
just sort of wonks into this.
Yeah, there's some handicaps that could possibly have. So I'm going to roll a d20 for this to see if Kroll gets any advantage or disadvantage. So Kroll is going to get... he's enraged at the character he's facing. So he's enraged at Toberman. I mean, he probably would be anyway, given he's a bit rage. Now, for Toberman, Number 6. Oh, Toberman's now twice his current size. So he's still not going to be close to being as tall as Kroll.
So he's not a kaiju, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So not a kaiju.
If
anything,
anything,
just make it easier for Kroll to get to him if he's bigger.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If anything, that's kind of a disadvantage. Is now his one advantage of being able to kind of sneak around is kind of diminished. He's barely able to fit through doors.
And the downside.
I reckon with a larger size, he has less mobility as well. He can't flee or dodge his attacks if he goes for it.
See, I feel like Kroll's tentacles could slither into the tower, but I feel like Toberman could easily rip his tentacles apart.
I don't even think that. I think Kroll just swiped at walls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Kroll is shown to be pretty resilient. I don't think you'd be able. As strong as Toberman is, I don't think he's ripping a tentacle off. He might be able to damage it a bit, but the thing is, Kroll is so big and has so many tentacles, and Toberman's not going to be swift on his feet, twice his size in a what's basically kind of an apartment complex. He's going to struggle.
Toberman's powers exactly.
Toberman, he's just a strong man. He's just a tall, strong black man.
This is not an anime. He's not going to win this.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty easy win for Kroll, to be honest. I think that one didn't
Despite all the tentacles, it's not an anime.
He might be able to do some Empire Strikes Back maneuver, but I doubt it.
Well, Dylan, has he considered that he might whip out the DMAT gun?
No,
No, if Toberman had the DMAT gun, he'd win. The DMAT gun is the best gun.
Surely he has to roll for that, right? He doesn't start off with it.
Someone should tell Toberman evil must be destroyed and Kroll's dead, if it's that Toberman.
No, it's not.
That does set him off. Does set him off. But no, I think angry Kroll is able to just swipe Toberman, who's struggling to go through doorways.
Unless this
already
to Chuck Norris.
As we know, Toberman is strong enough to make the cyber controller gain a lot of weight.
No, so Tom, I showed you Tomb of the Cybermen, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yes, just come back to me. That Toberman.
Yeah,
why was he strong?
Man. He was very strong.
Yeah,
but not strong enough.
But because not superhuman.
Because he was the silent black man in a 1960s TV show.
That's powerful, to be honest.
it is powerful. But Kroll is a skyscraper.
Toberman is so strong that he is able to open a pair of double doors that Patrick Troughton couldn't open because he clearly had his foot in the way.
And Zabie couldn't because he hadn't had any exercise lately.
Yeah.
Red coats.
Yeah, it's the red coats that stopped. I think we're going Kroll then. I think Kroll wins that one easily.
Yeah. Rip Toberman.
Yeah.
All right. Toberman may have a chance if we have time to go through the losers bracket, but I think Kroll wins this one handily. Right. So.
All right.
Our next battle is the android from the Series 1 of New Who finale versus the pirate captain and his parrot.
Oh, so the parrot is included?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So just for those who don't know, so the android is a robot from Satellite 5 in the Series 1 finale, which has the ability to teleport or zap victims using its mouth, and it's basically
it also has the powers
the weakest
of
link.
Robinson.
Yeah, that's the weakest link. I remember that.
And then the pirate captain and the parrot are from the pirate planet, and basically it's big cyborg played by Bruce Purchase with a very short temper who sends the parrot to go and kill people whenever he gets angry. But he's more than capable of killing people himself.
The android kind of confused me. The android was weird because I remember it had a gun that could take out Daleks, where the cutting edge weapons of the facility just couldn't dent them. The most powerful weapon humanity had was put on Anne.
Well, Tom, you got to remember that the android, as well as many of the other things on the station, were as a result of Dalek influence and technology.
I forgot about the. I thought it just killed them.
No, it just teleported.
It just sent them back. Just sent them back. That's all it did, except for the what not to wear thing, which did a whole bunch of Cronenberg shit.
So how would Anne actually kill her opponents if she just teleports?
Just teleport them into space and then they suffocate.
Can Anne even control that?
Yeah, we've just got to assume that she does, otherwise it's not a viable fight.
Yeah, because in the episode itself we only saw her teleport to where the Daleks were hiding.
Okay, so before we get into the weeds on this discussion, Maddox, we just need to go through the location and any advantages and disadvantages. So they are going to be on Nerva Beacon, and Android is going to be is not going to have an advantage or a disadvantage, and the pirate captain is going to be distracted by a woman. So he's distracted by a woman. Mamma mia! Right, so that's what's happening.
Well, I think. Well, is this android pre or post Captain Jack tampering with it? Because obviously you get that scene where it shoots Daleks.
I'm just going to straight away say rip pirate captain. Let's be real.
Really, why do you think that?
If the android teleports them to the Dalek ship, then that's a death.
Well,
yeah. I think they're pretty evenly matched because that parrot is pretty powerful too. But like,
does the android have to kill the parrot to win?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, the pirate captain is more mobile than the android. Is what you got to think. Obviously, in Nerva Beacon, the corridors are quite tight, which could be a disadvantage for the pirate captain because basically the android just needs to get off one fairly straight shot. Obviously, but the parrot might help. Could the parrot perhaps distract the android in any way?
Well, it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict the behavior of the android because the android was always in kind of like a game show setting.
Yeah.
It could potentially get it from behind, but then again, the android does sense when someone is scared around them because there was that one contestant that tried to run away. It still got them. It depends what the pirate captain can be scared. Depends what they can sense behind. Depends what the android can sense around her.
It's a good shot, I suppose, given that it grabs the contestants that are fleeing.
Yeah, I imagine the parrot would just continually fly around the android until it's hit.
Can the pirate control the parrot?
So the parrot, like, kind of, it'll obey his orders. Like, it's a robot parrot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the parrot has a mind of its own. Like it obeys orders, but I don't think it's directly controlled.
Yeah, it's like kind of AI.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is actually quite a close one because obviously the pirate captain has the advantage of kind of having two of them. So the pirate captain does actually have a gun on his arm. It's never used in the episode, but it looks like he has a gun.
It's just who gets off the first shot at that point, then.
Yeah.
Has there been any expanded lore where he has any other things?
I don't think he's returned.
I genuinely feel like that's like the one story that has never been a sequel to.
Yeah, even Big Finish haven't touched the pirate planet. I don't know why. It's a great story.
It's weird, and you think they would. You think they would do a Pirate Planet sequel somewhere down the line, or any random book.
Yeah, I think whoever said it, I think it's down to who is lucky enough to get the first shot. And honestly, I think the android is capable of shooting quicker because when you look at that parrot, it seems to only be able to shoot once it's actually taken off to the skies. Whereas,
and also, K9 defeated it, and K9's hardly like a speed master.
Yeah.
How intelligent is the pirate? Because we can assume that the android is pretty stupid. It's kind of a bit of a
that's the thing. The pirate captain, canonically, is actually meant to be very intelligent. Yeah. Like he
I'd say pirate captain. If they've both got a gun, and the pirate captain is more intelligent and has the parrot to do whatever with, then I'd say probably just based on that, I'd go for the pirate.
But you got to remember the twitch reactions of the android is going to be fast. Like that's going to be like basically, if he shows himself in direct view, that's it. Unless he's already.
I think we've also got to remember the android can distract the pirate captain with the insult power of Anne Robinson.
Because it used it on Rose by insulting her hair. Unemployed. You still have enough money to buy frocks.
I think we also got to remember that the parrot can just whip out the DMAT gun. Okay, no, I'm not going to bring up the fucking DMAT gun again.
Literally, you're trying to destroy my friendships. You're trying to ruin it. I'm not going to let you do it. Right, I think this is honestly. I'm kind of leaning towards Tom in the sense that I think obviously the pirate captain would kind of, assuming they both know who they're facing because they're in a fight together. Like he'd kind of know that he needs to be a bit clever about this. Maybe kind of sneak around a bit kind of use the parrot as a distraction and then kind of get behind her or to her side to get shot off before she can. I think
it's one of the things as well. I think it's the Anne personality, along with just how kind of like basic the AI of Anne is. She's probably she's going to be saying stuff all the time. She's going to give away a position round the corner. You're going to hear her.
But that might be the advantage though, because it's going to be Anne Robinson insulting the pirate captain.
Just the shit she's going to kill him with sass.
She might make him angry. He is very prone to getting irrationally angry and then making mistakes.
She'll call him that.
You are the wish version of You are the wish version of Brian Blessing.
You know the hologram thing that the Doctor uses in like the Part 3 cliffhanger, where it's like, "Oh no, I'm falling to my death," but it turns out it's just a hologram of him. I wonder if like the pirate captain could use that, but then again, he's not equipped with that.
We kind of got to assume that they've only got their base equipment,
right?
Because otherwise, you bring all sorts of unknown variables into it.
I'm still backing the android here. Like again, you can't underestimate the power of Anne Robinson.
I think it's I think the only fair way to do it is maybe like a dice roll to see if he's successful at kind of distracting the android and be able to sneak around it. So what we would say, like maybe how likely do you think he's able to do that then, Kian? That like what kind of dice roll on a D20 would you ask for?
The android's pretty stupid, and it will give away its position.
See, the thing is, we've forgotten the fact that Captain is distracted by a woman. So,
that's true. We had kind of forgotten
that. Could be the woman.
So yeah, he's going to be desperate to get the pussy. Like he's probably not even really thinking too much about this. So that might have an impact. I say maybe
make him feel self-conscious, and then he'll be even more distracted.
If he's not focusing on the android, then his intelligence aspect is nullified to some extent.
Well, why don't we say, if he gets less than a 10 on the dice, he fails. If he gets more than a 10 on the dice, he's able to succeed and get round that android.
Has been a pretty equal debate, so yeah.
Sure. Yeah. In
7, he fails. So distracted by a woman, he is zapped into space and suffocates.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I have a feeling that the combination of being distracted by a woman and that parrot kind of taking a while to be able to shoot is just putting him in a losing position.
Woman, you are beautiful.
Yeah, he has become full Jarvik. So at the end of the day, as usual, women ruining everything for the base child characters. Don't blame me, that's just how it goes. Right. So, that is the pirate captain out, or at least out in the losers, depending on if we do a losers bracket at the end. See how much time we have.
Yeah, speaking of a woman, I see what's on the next one.
Alright, let's have a look. So, the next battle is between Lynx, the Sontaran from the Time Warrior, and a Mondasian Cyberman.
Odd name for a Sontaran. It's quite minxy.
Is it any
Mondasian, do you mean
it's Lynx? It's Lynx specifically.
Is the Cyberman Bill parts?
So they're going to be in a War Machine factory. So the one from the War Machines. And in terms of circumstances, Lynx is going to be having an existential crisis, and the Mondasian Cyberman is going to be enraged at the character they face. Don't know how that works given the lack of emotions, but that's what's going on. So I think probably that effect doesn't really have an effect on the Cyberman because its emotions are gone. So like, even though their brain would be enraged, that's kind of been nullified.
So, is Lynx having an existential crisis because he's discovered that humans have a secondary gender?
He's probably having an existential crisis because he's watched any of the episodes involving Strax. Their value as a species. Alright, anyway, just to kind of go through the stats of these two. So Lynx, a Sontaran, and not like a New Who Sontaran, he's actually very intelligent, loves war too much. That his arrogance is often his downfall. He's He has the capability to time travel, but he probably wouldn't have that here. He has a staff which can like stun and kill. Maybe not powerful enough for a Cyberman. We can see about that. A Mondasian Cyberman's like kind of a very rudimentary Cyberman. Like, you know, it's only got surgical tape to cover its scarred face. It's got a massive chest unit keeping it alive, but it still is very strong because of the cybernetic implants, and has a weapon which kills humans instantly on its chest, which could very well do for Lynx. So they're in a war machine factory, so there's going to be lots of crates, boxes, work going on, machinery. What do I think?
How was the armor for the Sontarans in Old Who? I know in New Who it could like stop bullets. They had shields and stuff.
I don't think they ever got shot with a bullet
with
in Classic Who. Because like they
kind of shot with an arrow.
But that was in his probic vent though.
Yeah, shot with an arrow.
I remember in the Two Doctors when Jamie fucking shanks one of them with a knife.
True.
That's true. So you can pierce it with a knife.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nothing.
Okay, here's the simple question: do we think there's any gold in a war machine factory?
Well, I don't think Mondasian Cybermen are weak to gold. That comes
They're
later.
not. They're not. They tried using it in spare parts and it didn't work.
I can't say that's not canon because I like that.
I mean, all the Sontaran has to do, all Lynx has to do is blow up Mondas, and then
He's going to struggle to do that from a war machine factory.
See, the Mondasian Cybermen are like the slowest ones. They're very clunky. The Sontaran, even though he's a bit existential, is probably going to just out-strategy it.
But the thing is, though, like, I believe that Lynx is strategically pretty sound, but I don't know if his weapons are going to be enough on a Cyberman, because I don't know if that staff is really going to have that much effect.
Will he have access to nail remover?
Is it electrical?
They still have the enhanced strength as well.
The staff, yeah, it's like kind of electric thing. It can knock things out of people's hands. It can knock people out. It can kill people, but it doesn't do that very often. It can torture people. It's good, effective against humans. I just don't know how effective it'd be against a Cyberman. Obviously, this is quite a primitive Cyberman, so maybe it would.
Also against a Cyberman.
Still don't think it would be because the Mondasian Cyberman still was strong.
Right, can we Zach go first? Then we can hear from you, Maddox.
Okay.
I don't think it would be because even back then, even in the 10th planets, they were still enhanced to be in a stronger physical.
Yeah, that's true. Bullets don't do anything against them.
And we do see them overpower people in World Enough for Time and the Doctor Fools as well. So we do see from that they do have a form of super strength, at least as stronger than the average human.
Anyway, to kind of answer Tom's question, so what nature of the existential crisis? Well, I think that's kind of for us to make up.
Well, I mean, if it's a Sontaran, you'd imagine it'd be like about war. Maybe
he's kind of questioning what's the point of all this war. Like, he's the first Sontaran to finally go like, why do we do this? And he's
that
obviously
to me would be a Sontaran existential crisis.
Yeah, and that's
like done good.
Yeah, and that's obviously like a big disadvantage in a fight scenario against like a very calculating, creature, which is more powerful than it and has a gun that can probably kill it.
Yeah. Remember that Sontaran stun stick can do more than just like stun and kill. It can also like hypnotize as well, because Lynx uses it to hypnotize.
Hypnotize
No, but like there's people in the factory though. There'll be people working in the factory.
Oh, true.
So
I mean, again, we need to establish what chemicals are in the factory. Could he make a poly cocktail?
Well, it's like a war machine factory, so there'll be like metal working, like soldering, like iron, like fusing and things like that.
Well, you could solder the Cyberman's chest if you get it from behind.
Yeah,
you could probably get some of that, but then this necessitates him being able to avoid the Cyberman and sneak round for long enough.
Also, Sontaran are very honourable, and they will always face their enemy, so he wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think that's it. As a Sontaran, he could win it possibly by sneaking around, hypnotizing people, and collecting the weapons he needs, but he wouldn't do that. It would be against his code, even during an existential crisis.
He just has too much of an ego.
Which will fuck him. Like that.
That's a vital question. Does this War Machine factory have war machines in it?
Yes, but they're not made yet.
Right, because
Just the spare parts.
you know that bit in the 10th planet when the Cyberman is temporarily blinded by the projector. Like, what if there's like a really strong light in there that Lynx can use?
Well, there'll definitely be that. I mean, we know that there's kind of light bulbs in there that you could possibly use.
Yeah.
But again, I just think that requires a lot of time to sneak around and go and get, which would be against his principles. So he wouldn't do it. He'd try and square off against the Cyberman straight away.
He's charging head first straight into that ray.
And he's getting killed.
I like Lynx, but it's this Rip Lynx, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that existential crisis probably even doesn't really come in, but I think it's just the fact that he's against a stronger foe, but as a Sontaran, he won't care about dying. He'll just be like, this is the honourable thing to do. Just charge.
He would rather die in battle. He would rather die in
battle. If the
battle.
Cyberman is angry, because I know we said it wouldn't have an effect because it's a Cyberman, but what if this Cyberman is like emotionally breaking down?
I did mention, is it short-circuiting?
Right, fair enough.
I mean, that Cyberman in the invasion that's having a mental breakdown is still like strong enough to kill people.
Yeah, like it kills about 5 people, including Cybermen. Like,
and we have gone
Mondasian Cybermen having emotions probably wouldn't change much anyway because they're all sassy fuckers anyway.
We are the best design, but we have some flaws.
Right, I think it's got to be the Mondasian Cyberman.
Cyberman for me, yeah.
Yeah, I thought Lynx was going to go far, to be honest, with his like kind of nous for war, but I do really think his kind of honor code completely screws him. All right,
yeah, probably.
Next two is a Quark versus Lord Axir from the Monster of Peladon. The Quarks we know from the Dominators, small machines, not very mobile, but have extreme firepower. Their batteries don't last very long, but while they are there, they can like blow up entire buildings just with their inbuilt armaments. Lord Axir is an Ice Lord, again has a code of honor, will have access to a sonic gun which is attached to his wrist. Isn't perhaps the most mobile, more mobile than a regular Ice Warrior, but still, it's like, I don't think the fact that he's more mobile than a Quark is really going to have that much impact, because he's not that much more mobile as a Quark. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
I think we all know what I'm arguing regardless.
I know, you're just going to simp for the Quark. Alright, it's taking place in, this could be interesting, the Celestial Toy Room. So the Celestial Toy Room from the Celestial Toymaker, where like the Celestial Toymaker forces people to compete in like sadistic games which often result in death.
Which challenger they are.
Dancing bloody ballet dancers are going to be getting in the way and...
Alright. So for the Quark is stripped of all weapons.
Well,
Lord Axir has just been zapped to this place by a weeping angel, so he's a bit unsure of where the hell he is. Well...
Yeah, no, the Quark losers, sorry.
Yeah, I think
sorry.
That role messed him up.
It's a bit of a no contest, I'm sorry.
Because it cannot be thrown off by whatever the Celestial Toymaker tries on it, because it is a robot and therefore is not affected.
But it doesn't matter though, Ian, because he doesn't have any guns.
It doesn't need to defend itself. The Toymaker won't care.
Now.
Was it going to spike him with his head? Like
the Toymaker will have more interest in the Ice Lord and will just make him like jump off a cliff.
All right.
I don't know what's in the
I'm going to be. Alright, I'm going to be charitable, Ian. So because one of the circumstances was for Lord Axir, he'd just been zapped there by a weeping angel. Let's say that they are playing one of the games where if you step on the floor, you die. So he may be disoriented enough just to end up killing himself. So I'm going to say if you get a 19 or a 20 on the dice, that happens and the Quark wins.
Oh, please, God.
Alright, Lord Axir's dead! Natural 20! What a comedic battle. They both arrive, the Quark guns malfunction, Lord Axir just been touched by a weeping angel, just like, just stumbles on the floor is lava type situation and dies.
wasn't involved with King and Queen of Hearts.
Oh, I thought that was going to be like a nice compromise to get you shut up about the Quark losing, but fair enough.
It's just lucky you said the floor is lava game, because if you mentioned like the freezing chair game, it wouldn't make any difference.
Lord Axir has just sat in the wrong chair.
Well, actually, the Quark couldn't lose the freezing chair game because it can't sit down.
True.
So you shouldn't have chosen the freezing chair game.
At least it wasn't with that bloody big child.
Well, there we go then. Lord Axir is out in the most bizarre circumstances.
Okay.
Ooh, here's an interesting one. Scorby versus a Rutin. So Scorby from the Seeds of Doom is an absolutely ruthless mercenary. He'll be armed with his trusty pistol.
He does have a gun.
Yeah, he's like kind of like extremely ruthless, kills people without a second thought. He's seen like, you know, he isn't too phased when he comes across aliens in the Seeds of Doom. He just kind of sees it as another job. So I can imagine he's not going to be too stunned by the Rutin. So this battle is going to take place in the land of fiction.
Okay.
Oh, and also Rutin is like a shape-shifting, like kind of almost space sea creature that can electrocute people it comes across. All right.
It's a shape-shifting cabbage.
Right, so Scorby's going to have no advantage or disadvantage, and neither's the Rutin, so it's just a straight fight in the land of fiction, which I think is quite a big like role. I think that could have an impact. So the land of fiction, you know, just to kind of reiterate, it's a place where it's full of fictional characters that can be controlled by people with imagination, and like they can summon like fictional characters and things like that to kind of help them. So I think that it being in the land of fiction really helps Scorby, because if it was just like, you know, say in Fang Rock Lighthouse, I think the Rutin easily just destroys a human, as it just because it massacres a whole lighthouse full of people in Horror of Fang Rock. But
we don't know what fiction the Rutins have.
Yeah,
Scorby's probably well read. He could summon like.
Well, Scorby's not well read, but he'll know enough.
Dylan,
I
what
still
kills a
reckon Rutin would have some knowledge of this as well, because being the arch enemy of the Sontarans, they would still be knowledgeable on military strategy and such, and probably have at least the may know the right way. Like, may at least know all the right. May at least know counter strategy to deal with someone like Scorby. May at least depending on its own imagination and who it's transformed.
No, I think the Rutin strategy would backfire, because what would happen is those annoying kids come along that like ask the riddles or whatever. The Rutin turns into one of them. Scorby doesn't know which, so he just shoots all of them.
Oh, that's where it's kind of go through all of that sequentially. So for Tom, we see the only one in the story killed by high explosives. But Scorby could just summon a character who has TNT.
What about projectiles? So would his gun be any use? Because it says they're amorphous blobs. Would projectiles do anything?
It would probably damage it, but not kill it. I know.
Are they like literally jellyfish?
Yeah.
Are they like
how it's killed in Horror of Fang Rock? Like it's killed with like that thingamajig.
Yeah. So, but to answer kind of Zach's thing, I think that because the only thing we really know about Rutin society is it's very militaristic, and very militaristic societies tend not to be very good with the arts. So I think he's going to have far less of a pool of fictional characters to draw upon. But Kian's point about disguise could work.
I think you're right, because a Rutin would probably think a bit more literally than someone like.
Yeah, so it just depends. Do we think? Because I think if Scorby twigs on that the Rutin's in disguise, he'll be able to like summon things that will just kill everything in sight and get rid of it that way, because that's the kind of solution he'd have. But would he twig onto it? Would he work it out?
It also depends on how far away they start from each other, because if they spawn right next to each other, the Rutin could easily win just from body contact.
Well, let's say they both kind of fall in a slightly different part of the land of fiction, and they both know that they're going to fight each other, but they won't have a full bio of what it is unless it's something they already would know. So I don't think the Rutin knows who Scorby is; it just knows he's fighting the human. And Scorby knows he's fighting an alien, but he doesn't know anything about the alien other than it's from a different planet.
Okay.
Because Scorby, in that situation's not going to trust anything and will just shoot everything.
Scorby actually befriends the carcass. And
Although, one good point though is, will Scorby be able to work out how to control the land of fiction?
I think it sort of depends on what part of the land of fiction we're talking about. Because if we're talking about that little maze sequence, very claustrophobic, then maybe the Rutin could win. But if we're talking like big open space, like the White Void,
well, let's just say they're both at different parts of the Forest of Words.
Okay.
So how far
I think the Rutin could easily win then, because that's still pretty claustrophobic and there's a lot of hiding spaces. So
yeah, and I just don't think Scorby would be able to twig on fast enough about how to control the land of fiction, because he's a very good soldier, a very good mercenary, very ruthless, but he's not very intelligent. He's not going to work that out. Yeah, it's basically his solution to everything is just kill it with fire. And that's probably not
even if halfway through he ends up in a studio of Nicholas Briggs and doesn't see anything wrong with it.
Just remember, in that Forest of Words, like when the Dr. Jamie and Zoe are hiding from like the toy soldiers, they can hide inside the letters. Like can hide inside like a C or an S, or they can hide in the crevices and shit. So I think the Rutin could just hide in there, wait for Scorby to come along, and then zap, dead.
Yeah. I think it's Rip Scorby.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Scorby loses this one. Sadly, it's a shame after his excellent run in either the first or second one, where he shoots Chloe Webber, a child, to death in a lighthouse. Very impressive win, that one, but sadly out of the first hurdle here against the Rutin.
Interesting, because that's my two favourite Tom Baker stories there. So.
That's interesting choices. I like both of them a lot. All right, so the next one, almost a not really a similar battle, but it's just got something else from the Seeds of Doom in. So first of all, we have Captain Rack, who is a ruthless Eternal. So that's a creature that's existed since the dawn of time and will forever exist. And specifically, she controls a ship of other Eternals and humans trying to win a race in Enlightenment. But obviously here, she's just here in a battle.
And she's played by
and she's Auntie Mabel.
Yeah, so quite a, ruthless, intelligent, scary, powerful woman versus a Kinoid. So a Kinoid's being the plant creatures from the Seeds of Doom, which slowly grow until they reach the size of buildings. So I think the only thing that's fair for the Kinoid is that we do a roll to see what size it's going to be during the fight. So maybe 1 to 7, it's just infected someone. 8 to 20, it's kind of mid-size, and then 8 to 16 it's mid-size, and then 17 to 20 it's fully grown, massive, just about where it looks like at the end of the Seeds of Doom when it's just destroying the building.
Are we not going to qualify the pod form where it could just reach out with a tentacle and just zap?
Well, I'll put the pod form as a natural 1 as a critical failure, because I think that pod is disposed of pretty easily. Alright. Oh my god, it's a natural 1.
Oh. So, do we want to do the rest of it to see if there's any advantages?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, there could still be something go wrong for Captain Rack, but so far looking pretty strong. So
she could...
Alright, this could affect things. They're at the Raston...
She pulls the turtle and makes it kill itself.
The Raston Robots Cave entrance. So that's the robot that's fast as lightning from the 5 Doctors that destroys a whole platoon of Cybermen with its arrows. And as for advantage and disadvantage, the Kinoid has a slight cold, and Captain Rack gains an ally. So the ally they will gain is a Naimon. So Captain Rack with a Naimon at the Raston Warrior Robots Cave entrance against a Kinoid pod.
Does the Kinoid have an insane plant synth with it this time?
Oh, you mean the music that Chase plays?
Oh yeah.
I need to establish this just to be sure. Captain Rack has seen 1 Naimon today.
She does. Not only has she seen one Naimon, she's befriended one Naimon. It's now on her
Does
side.
she have dreams of? Does she have dreams of conquest?
Over the Kinoid, yes.
I think
the Naimon. She just gets the Naimon to step on it. She just picks up one of the Raston warrior robots' arrows.
One thing to remember is there is a Raston warrior robot here.
Whose side is the Raston warrior robot on?
Neither's. It's just defending its cave, like it always does.
Because if it were on the Kinoid side, it could just chuck it in Auntie Mabel's face, and then it can sting her. And then that's it.
Well, I'll tell you what I think happens. Captain Rack sends the Naimon to distract the Raston warrior robot. Then she goes up the Kinoid pod and just shoots it with her flintlock pistol.
She literally just steps on it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
She, like Muffat's deepest, darkest desires, she just steps on it.
Just remember, because those pods can still be pretty dangerous, but only when not frozen. Because remember,
I'll play at least devil's advocate for the side of whoever's with the warrior robot, because Leela has decapitated at least one of them, so it is still possible to at least.
But I think Captain Rack's ally neutralizes that because she just sends it to distract her.
Yeah, the Naimon will distract it for 10 seconds, and then the Raston warrior robot will just quickly kill it.
And Captain Rack is an Eternal, so she's very intelligent. She'll know what Kinoid is. She'll know how to destroy a Kinoid. She'll get rid of it.
Take a few attacks from it anyway.
Plus, can Eternals even be killed by ephemerals?
We actually don't. I don't think so.
Well, kind of when they're defeated, they kind of disappear to somewhere else. That would count as a loss.
They end up in a time museum.
They just sort of stop existing.
So. Say hypothetically the Kinoid won, she'd just be stunned and she'd be like, "Ow, that hurts," and then fade away.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think the Kinoid could even infect her. So it's just destroyed. It's screwed. Like, Kinoid's done. Yeah. It really rolled a bad roll by being a god.
Because remember,
just has to wait for the 18th century music to stop.
I mean, those pods can still be pretty dangerous when it's warm, but I'm pretty sure the death zone is fairly just. Not frigid,
but we can see the mist rolling over and all of the female companion characters. And
so it's pretty
freezing like usual.
So it's pretty chilly, and it has a cold. So yeah, it's just not going to activate.
Just how many poor young women had to wear skimpy outfits in a quarry and dulce at
And to celebrate her win, Captain Kraft starts singing the ballad of the Last Chancellor.
Alright. Easy victory for Captain Kraft.
The funniest instant of that, Dylan, is knowing that they filmed, the Totters Lane sequence in Attack of the Cybermen, they filmed that on a cold November. Poor Nicola Bryant.
Oh, God!
Yeah.
Everything she had to wear, poor girl.
God, is it possible to get frostbite on your tits? Because if so... That is definitely what happened.
I feel like she just hit in Colin's coat for a lot of that shooting.
And poor Katie Manning.
Alright, so our next fight, hopefully this one will be a bit more competitive, as the last two been pretty easy victories. The last three even.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a Wirren versus Axos. So I think it's a disadvantage.
So it's the tentacle off. Well,
pretty much.
Long bits.
So we got another thing that can infect someone versus a thing that can just... What do Axons do? I can't remember.
Well, no, it's not just Axons, it's Axos. So we're considering one Wirren, one fully grown Wirren, which is a kind of insectoid creature that kind of infects something and then kind of takes it over, then lays eggs to create more things. It's got a similar life cycle to the Alien, despite being made before Alien. Versus Axos, which is a Gestalt entity that can kind of detach parts of itself to go and do missions.
That whole rubber chicken looking ass spaceship, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's versus that. And let's look at location and advantage rolls first before we say anything. So it's an ice world from Dragonfire. So, like, quite a busy place. Like, it's got, like, a market, a square, like, cafes. It's a populated place.
I think the Wirren loses.
It's
Why?
so we got 7,
It can,
which is
it can thrive in cold temperatures. It does when we're an isle.
right. So a Wirren knows everything about their opponent. That's their advantage.
So they know their opponent is a serial gaslighter.
And I don't know how this is going to work, but Axos is desperate for the toilet. So Axos has came to Iceworld to have like a Gestalt shit. So that's kind of the
Axos even food and Axos even shit.
Well,
let's just say it's like they want to discharge like waste matter from the Gestalt.
I don't really remember Claws Axos that well, but I remember that A, it can cause hallucinations or whatever, and B,
but that's only when you're inside of it. The Wirren is not inside of it. They're on Iceworld. So Axos has landed on Iceworld to take a shit.
So what Axos
but also,
does
like,
is it just... I'll
like
go first.
I was just saying the Axons, like the actual tentacle monsters, they can still like shoot, right? They can. Because I think they shoot the unit guards. I think there's some fight scenes, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't shoot them. Like, their tentacles come out and, like, kind of explode on them.
Right. And also the Wirren can fly, so that's another thing you got to consider. But can it fly inside Iceworld? Like, how tall are the rooms?
Well, I mean, I think probably the best thing to imagine here is that Axos sends out, you know, some creatures from it to go and attack the Wirren, and it's probably got enough power, even if its desperate state of needing to shit. Send a good squad of like kind of Axons out there, and it could probably even make them the kind of golden Axons, which could kind of win the trust of the people of like Iceworld. Maybe it could go to like whoever's in charge there at the time.
Just promises Sabalom Glitz a lot of money.
Yeah, just say, look, you can have Axonite if you just let us go around and find this creature and kill it.
The
creature's probably a nuisance for you anyway. Because think about it this way.
Worth a lot of rock sticks.
Yeah, no one's gonna want the Wirren there. Like, because the Wirren
it's
gonna
be like
a
mosquito.
Yeah. Whereas these Axons, they come, they say, you have Axonite, we get to go kill it. Yeah, I think Axos just wins this one.
Yeah,
the Axons come.
I think just one Wirren versus an entire Gestalt entity with so many powers and, like, the ability to be able to manipulate people. Yeah, it's got to be Axos, hasn't it?
It's like putting Jeff Goldblum against Jesus.
Right, there we go. So our
calling Jesus a manipulator.
He was a girl boss, Tom. Jesus was a girl boss.
The Axos were the original Gaslight Gatekeep girl boss.
Yes.
Alright, so our next fight is going to be a War Machine versus Shockeye of the Quansing Grig. So,
what?
Shockeye of the Quansing Grig. Alright, so a War Machine...
Another band name, Dylan.
That's a good point. So, Shockeye is like an androgum, so that's a very strong, very violent, and very like tribal race of people that love nothing more than to kill and to consume their enemies. And he himself is a chef of that race, and so does possess strength, but also is quite arrogant and a bit dim. The War Machine is controlled by a supercomputer called Wotan. It's kind of very boxy, not very maneuverable, but has powerful weapons on its front.
Wotan, who is credited as himself in the credits.
I mean, if Shockeye were going...
For the first 3 parts, the final one he's not.
If Shockeye were going against someone who was like an actual animal, like someone who was who actually consisted of...
Well, so let's look at where it is, though. So, it's taking place in Wester Drumlands, so that's the House of the Weeping Angels from Blink. And for possible circumstances... Shockeye has a cyber-converted arm. It's like from Tomb of the Cybermen. He's got one arm that's Cyberman, the rest of him's fine. And then the War Machine is stripped of all weapons. Oh dear.
Oh.
That changes things a lot.
Run him over. Let's be real. The War Machine could still run him over.
Nah, Shockeye's like 6'3". Like, he's gonna tower over it.
Also,
and it's very... The war machines
The
themselves
Angels
are very
won't
strong.
care about a war machine.
Yeah, but so that is the one thing that plays to the War Machine's favour. The Weeping Angels won't be interested in it because it's not alive, but they will be interested in Shockeye.
Yeah,
But the question
Shockeye's
is,
dead.
can Shockeye avoid the Weeping Angels long enough to kill the completely vulnerable War Machine? So basically, all it needs, as it can't shoot him, all it needs to do is go next to it and rip out its circuitry. That's all he needs to do.
Do angry men know about Weeping Angels?
Well, I think we should do a roll for that because Androgams know about Time Lords and Sontarans, so they clearly have some knowledge of the universe. So I say if he rolls over a 10, he knows about Weeping Angels and what they are. He doesn't know about Weeping
still
Angels.
isn't okay. I was going to say knowing about them still isn't enough.
All right, he's dead. He's dead.
This Shockeye, he's as soon as he goes in, he went back to the Angel and says, dead.
And then the War Machine visits Old Man Shockeye in the hospital, and they reminisce about how they loved each other.
I also don't think it being in Western Drumlands would make a difference for the War Machine because it's a very frail old. Like you'd think it would make a difference because it's a very confined space, but it's also a very architecturally unstable, dilapidated building that the War Machine could just drive through and just knock over, and it wouldn't be damaged at all. So
yeah, but it would just kind of like the War Machine is completely at Shockeye's mercy. It's just I don't think Shockeye is able to get to it past the Weeping Angels.
Yeah,
you can believe he won't notice them or be zapped.
Yep, it's just like Shockeye like sees these statues, doesn't know what they are, doesn't care. Sees the War Machine, starts going towards it, then he's zapped by the Weeping Angels from behind. And yeah,
but again, that does depend on when, because we've been talking like as if the Weeping Angels would be there. Would this be before they're defeated? I guess.
Yes. I mean, because I've tried to make these locations to have like some kind of natural hazards that could influence the fight. Because I think Shockeye, even if the War Machine's armed, probably the favourite for this battle because he's much more mobile. He's strong enough to be able to just destroy the War Machine if he gets close enough. And I think really he's rolled really badly on the location. I think in any other location he wins this, but he's just. I think maybe we should give him a chance to be able to see if he's able to twig what the Weeping Angels are and get the War Machines in time. I think
if it were after the Angels would just be like a circle of statues in the basement that wouldn't really add anything.
Well, I say if he rolls a 19 or 20, he kind of twigs the Weeping Angels and like is able to kind of avoid them long enough to kill the War Machine, even if he doesn't get out of the Western Drumlands himself. So let's give that a roll. Does everybody agree with that roll?
Yeah, I agree.
Because remember, people like Sally Sparrow who are completely unaware.
He rolled well, 17, but not quite enough, I don't think. So he gets zapped by the Weeping Angels. And War Machine, despite being completely helpless, somehow wins. I mean, they're literally like the Quark. How is everyone that's getting like the worst disadvantage to have no weapons?
I still think the War Machine could have just run him over.
Yeah, I'm honestly saying.
Plus, like, heavy.
Honestly, remember, people like Sally Sparrow, who were completely unaware of the Angels, were able to make multiple visits and got out there unscathed.
That's true, but I think just he just got Shockeye's kind of like he would be making a lot of noise. He'd just be pelting towards the War Machine, and like I think he'd make so much noise they'd kind of notice him pretty quick. And he's going to have his eyes so firmly fixed on the War Machine, he's not even paying attention to the statues. Because Sally Sparrow is interested in the statues. She looks at them. Yeah, so that's why they don't get her. Right, so I think that's a win for the War Machine. Okay, so we're going over to the second half of the bracket. And our first battle on this half is the Fat Controller versus Count Grindle.
The fuck?
Yeah, so by the Fat Controller, it's not the Fat Controller from Thomas the Tank Engine. It's Michael Kilgareth reprising his role as the Cyber Controller in Attack of the Cybermen, possibly unwisely. It's him versus Count Grindle, who is from the Androids of Tara. He's an evil count on a kind of medieval planet who's very manipulative, a brilliant sword fighter, the best on the planet, as according to what they say in the episode. He's going to be a pretty formidable character. He'll be armed with a sword that can kind of almost shoot laser beams. It's kind of like an electrified sword.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be against the Fat Controller, who's going to have like a Cyberman gun, an 80s Cyberman gun.
Unless there's going to be like, unless the environment or like any what's the word I'm looking for? Unless the environment or whatever like influences this fight, I think the Cyber Controller's got this in the bag. But
I don't know. I think this is going to be a bit of a tight one.
Does Count Grindle have any gold?
I think we could do a roll for that maybe. So they're in Devil's End, so that's the village from the demons. So it's like a kind of it's like a kind of rural English village, but with demonic undertones.
Where you can spend a day.
The Fat Controller is armed with a DMAT gun.
He wins.
Right, and then Count Grindle is a little bit drunk. He's been at the wine. He's just had dinner in the Cloven Hoof, and it's kind of like he's not pissed, but he is like starting to stumble about and slur.
Oh no! Count Grindle is actually Count Grindle is actually so drunk he dodges the DMAT beam.
What, like Jar Jar Binks doing like the drunken martial arts?
Okay, Dylan, we know how this works. Despite the fact that the Cyber Controller is armed with the fucking DMAT gun, he has to lose. This is how this works.
Well, I mean, the DMAT gun is the most powerful gun, but it's also quite unwieldy.
He's also strong enough to crush someone's hand, like that.
And the Fat Controller is pretty goddamn fat, so he's not gonna be wielding it particularly gracefully.
I think because Count Grindle is a rich aristocrat, we should roll to see if he's gonna have any gold on him, which that could have an impact. I'd say anything over 10 he has gold on him, because he obviously is a rich bastard, you know. He doesn't have gold on him. He doesn't have gold on him.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so, he did. Sorry.
As much as I tried, you know.
Unless Azal comes along and stomps on the Cyber Controller, which I don't.
Let's be real. Does the Fat Controller need the DMAT gun for this battle?
He's powerful enough on his own. He can literally just crush Grendel's hands.
Although one factor we're not, including here is the kind of the population, because Count Grindle, obviously all the characters know they're in a fight. And he's like kind of got that aristocratic charm, that manipulative side. He's a bit drunk, so he's socially lubricated. Might he be able to like win some of the villagers over to his side to say, look, this guy's no good for any of us. Like, look, he's armed with a gun. He might try and kill us, and then kind of like manipulate them into kind of distracting him while he kind of goes through and like gets him with a sword.
I think we should be careful with external elements to this fight.
Like, the Master is able to be like, this guy, he's a witch, and then tie the Doctor to the maypole. So.
Yeah, they're certainly credulous villagers.
To be honest, I think unless it's something obvious that they would use to their advantage, we should be careful about kind of assuming they'd take advantage of certain things within the environment.
Well, I think that Count Grindle would, because that's his personality. He's very manipulative. He knows how to like.
Yeah, but he's also drunk, so maybe the villagers just find him annoying and hope he dies.
Well, I think it's a role. I think this is a role to see whether he's able to win the villagers over to his side. Like, what role do you think would be fair then, Tom? Because you're kind of the most kind of against him using this.
In terms of. Well, to be honest, I also know the least about these villagers and Count Grindle's charisma.
So Count Grindle's pretty charismatic, but he is very slimy. And obviously, he is going to be in the pub because he's drunk. So he's stopping up for the Cloven Hoof. So he is going to be in a social area full of kind of drunk people, which I think maybe plays into his hands a bit, is you can rile up kind of a drunk crowd pretty easily if you've got the...
How likely would these villagers...
Imagine you're like this woman at a bar, and then this drunk, sly, charismatic guy just comes up and says, "Hey, beautiful." I don't think you're gonna listen to him.
Well, no, but remember, like the Master's able to rile up these villagers into like tying up the Doctor to the pole for being a witch.
Yeah, but that's because they're stupid and superstitious.
Exactly. So Count Grindle might play on the same things. He's intelligent.
How does
Plus, the
cyber controller
is outwardly abnormal, but at the same time, it has a fucking DMAT gun. It could just shoot everyone.
Well, no, because the DMAT gun, it is like the ultimate weapon in the sense that one shot kills, but it's heavy, it's unwieldy, like, you know, it takes a while to kind of, like, you know, aim it and shoot it and then get ready for the next target.
I think in the amount of time Count Grindle can be like, listen up, we've got to get this guy, I think the cyber controller would just be...
Well, I still think it should go down to a roll whether he manages to get the villagers
involved.
Also, we can see
even if he gets the villagers on side, I think if we're talking about superstitious villagers, one of them gets shot by a DMAT gun and they're scattered, they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, let's at least bring it at that point. I think 15 or over, he convinces them to join him.
Sure, go on.
He does get them to join him.
Okay, I still think they're not going to be that useful against a Cyberman with a DMAT gun.
Are we sure Count Grindle, like, in his drunken state, doesn't just charge at the cyber controller anyway? And just dies that way?
I think he's intelligent enough to know when he needs allies.
Yeah, you can be intelligent. If you're, like, that drunk, it doesn't matter.
But it's specifically, he's a little bit drunk. So, like, you know, he's a bit tipsy, but he's still, like,
that controller can still snap his neck.
Again, at the same time, like, even if Count Grindle is like, listen up, we're going to rally against this guy, and then they all, like, charge towards the cyber controller, I'm pretty sure the cyber controller just... Psh. And remember, that DMAT gun, it has a lot of knockback. Like, when the Doctor shoots that Sontaran, it knocks him out too, which I assume would, like... Say he didn't even shoot Grendel, say he just shot just a randomer, that would knock out everyone in the area, including maybe himself.
No, Cybermen are made of stronger stuff, though, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think even the cyber controller might be resilient against that.
I think if Grendel can get a 19 or a 20, in the confusion he's able to charge through and stab the cyber controller with a sword in the chest unit. I think
we can assume his weapon would do it.
I think his weapon would.
Dylan is just quite the androids of Tara Sim.
No. I just genuinely think he stands a chance against, like, this kind of massive Cyberman who's very unwieldy and slow.
Thing is,
probably would.
I think this is Dylan's.
Probably land against him, but I don't think it would do much.
Wait,
you know what?
I think on the DMAT gun.
Yeah, well, I think 19 and 20
is that the guy 1-on-1. The guy's not going to win with his sword against the DMAT gun. He's going to get shot. With allies, his allies are not going to be much use and will scatter after the first vaporization.
Yeah.
Well, I think if he gets a 19 or 20, do we agree he manages to get the first blow in with the distraction of the allies?
I mean, it's possible, but are we going to put everything down to a dice roll? Because I think it'd be quite unfair if he ends up actually
well, let's vote
this.
if it goes to a dice roll then. So, hands up if you think it should go to a dice roll. Alright, okay, I've lost then. Count Grendel's dead.
Zach.
Zach, so it's 3-2, go ahead.
Oh wait, who else had the hand up?
Yeah,
Zach.
I had my hand up.
So I couldn't see Kian's hand because of his phone orientation.
Alright,
let's have a look.
19 and 20, I'm fine.
Right, he's dead. Like, he tries to charge towards him, and there's jumping scoop there, trips over, goes like, and then it's shot.
It was just like, I want Count Grindle to win because he's in a 4-parter, which is closer than the cyber controller's in a 2-parter. It's closer than to a 6-parter. 6
parts are the best. Count Grindle, a travesty of justice, I think. You're out. So the next fight is the K1 robot versus the Warlord Togana. So the K1 robot is a pretty large robot, so, like, you know, about 7 or 8 foot. He's armed with like a ray gun. He's pretty slow and unwieldy, but he is very powerful. Versus the Warlord Togana, who's like a Mongol warlord who's very manipulative, very sly, very good with his sword. So those are the two characters we've got. So they're going to be fighting in the Varos Punishment Dome. So the Varos Punishment Dome's from Vengeance on Varos, and basically it's like where criminals are sent to face a punishment which is all recorded for television, where there's various different nasty ways of dying that are broadcast. Like, seeing a hallucination and walking into a hole, having to fight against cannibals, deadly plants. There's all sorts of horrible deaths in there.
It's like I'm a Celebrity.
It's like I'm a Celebrity, but except people actually die. And
sponsored by Jeremy
K1
Corbyn's biggest fan.
The K1 robot is stripped of all weapons. So far, all of the stripped of all weapons managed to win, but let's see. Togana, he doesn't have an advantage or a disadvantage.
I mean, as much as I want the Warlord Togana to win because, it's from Marco Polo, it's like he's actually affected by the punishment dome, whereas the big robot isn't.
Well, Togana's kind of superstitious, like he believes in evil spirits and shit, so he's gonna see like one of the hallucinations in the punishment dome and just...
He's gonna see 1,000 eyes.
He's gonna think it's all real. He's gonna think he's actually drowning in the dark, dehydrated in desert.
Dylan, I'm just imagining the John Wayne Genghis Khan. How accurate is that as a character?
Pretty close.
What do you mean I can't trust coal black car?
Except Togana's more slimy and like manipulative. But yeah, I think I've got to agree. The K1 robot, stripped of all weapons, he's not very powerful at that point. I mean, he's still strong if you get too close. But I think just Togana being someone from like an actual medieval Mongol who's never encountered anything like sci-fi really, other than the Doctor.
I think
he's gonna just see the hallucinations and he's gonna fall for it, hook, line, and sinker.
This is already a losing battle, but like the Kinoid debate, what size is the K1 robot?
Oh, just its normal size.
Okay.
Size does not matter.
Oh.
Yeah. Mass Mastera. Oh god.
Yeah, well, I think that one's the easy one. Then.
If it were the giant K1 robot, he could just pick up Togana.
What? He becomes like a little doll, like Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
And then stomps across a green screen like a sticky tape kaiju.
No, that scene was 100% real. Liz Sladen could just turn herself into a doll.
Yeah. But either way, no matter the outcome, even though we agree on the outcome, no matter the outcome, those two people are watching it on the TV and they're like, oh, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, Clara's nan is really enjoying it.
Alright, so K1 Robot wins. I think Warlord Togana was always quite hopeful in this fight. Okay, we've got an interesting one up there.
Does Warlord Togana turn into a bird person?
Yes. So Sabalom Glitz, the slimy, duplicitous mercenary who has a heart of gold in some ways, but is also a complete
Mel's
cock-hand
boyfriend.
Sell anybody for money.
Or was that Sabalom Glitz?
Sabalom
He's
Glitz.
his first love.
Oh, Sabalom Glitz.
And is against Bannakaffalatta, the weird red cactus-looking thing from Voyage of the Damned, who has a suicide vest, canonically.
Hang on, you got to say it properly.
Whatever you said, yeah.
Bannakaffalatta.
Bannakaffalatta, that was it.
Both of these characters are just kind of wholesome boyos, so it's kind of hard to imagine them aggressively fighting to the death.
Offer Glitz a few grotzits to go and kill it. He's off.
Hang on, Dylan. Does Bannakaffalatta taking himself out along with his opponent count as him winning?
This is true.
Yeah,
because this surely would be a draw in this case if they were to do that.
Well, let's look at location and stuff first, because you might get a weapon from a roll.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So it's taking place in the London Underground. So I've got to do a roll to see if this is when the Yeti are there, or whether it's on the normal day.
Suicide vest on the London Underground. It's perfect.
All right.
Yeah, it's
on the normal day. Normal day in London Underground.
With a foreign name, no less.
Alright, so Sabalom Glitz is going to have no advantage or disadvantage, and Bannakaffalatta is going to have a slight cold.
He's a cyborg, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just say he's going to glitch very slightly.
Also, do remember that suicide pulse only works against the host. It doesn't work against the human characters.
True. What Bannakaffalatta does is he just runs headfirst into Sabalom Glitz and impales him on his little spikes.
Yeah.
But Sabalom Glitz has a gun, remember, like a sniper rifle.
Oh, does he?
Oh yeah, he does.
If it's on the London Underground, would the explosion from Banner take out Glitz in the confined space of an underground? Would the shot set off the bomb?
That's what the explosion even does around the underground.
I don't remember Voyage of the Damned well enough to answer that question.
Well, it's just an EMP.
It's not even really an explosion. It's just like a psychic pulse that takes out electronics, because that's how the host are defeated.
Okay, so it's not even going to affect Glitz then.
Like, what's the point of an explosive core that just takes out electronics?
Core, it's just his power core.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
his power core that he activates in a desperate moment to take out all the host when it looks like they're all about to die.
Honestly, I thought the guy was just a bit of a psycho and thought, build a bomb in me.
No, he said earlier.
Build a bomb in me? Sounds like the worst erotic novel ever.
He said earlier in the story that he had an accident. And that's why.
Remember that there was like a weird flirtatious sort of like subplot between him and Kylie earlier in the story. Just one of his pickup lines, just like, "I have a bomb inside me."
Want me to build a bomb inside you?
To be honest, he only ever says his name, as far as I remember. Maybe he just said Bannakaffalatta and they just misinterpreted it. He said Kemel.
Cyberman.
Right, so I think Glitz is kind of without scruples enough to get his sniper rifle out on a busy platform, and maybe he kills a few bystanders, but gets Bannakaffalatta before he can even get close.
What a hero.
And then the EMP goes off, and a few people lose their phone for a bit.
Yeah, and like people care more about the loss of phone signal than like the deaths that have happened.
Although, to be honest, the moment Banner
was on the tube.
To be honest, Dylan, the moment Banner opens his vest, I think there'd be like a stampede on the platform to get out of there, knowing the London Underground. So we've got to consider that one. Would he be able to aim a sniper rifle if Banner caused a stampede?
Would Bannakaffalatta go straight for opening the vest, especially if it's an EMP and isn't?
What else is he going to do? You could drop kick that guy through like a rugby goal.
Just literally shoot that little fucker in the face.
See, I always forget that Glitz is actually a mercenary because he's the most toothless, like, goofball assassin ever. But, like, even then, I still think he'd win because Bannakaffalatta is so edgeless.
Yeah,
he's also
quite short.
He only really goes away when he's out of his depth. But Bannakaffalatta is just this tiny little thing, so I don't think. I think
Glitz comes into this with weapons, whereas Bannakaffalatta comes with a suicide vest that wouldn't even affect Glitz. So I think
that's very true.
Even after all the stampedes and stuff, Glitz is still able to deal with him. Because all he used to do was just get a shot in.
Yeah, it's honest. Like Banner's only real hope is that the stampede knocks Glitz off the platform or something.
Well, maybe we can do a roll for that.
I'm not rolling for that. That's absurd.
No. Let's say we get a natural 20, and like the stampede kills Glitz.
You just like the idea of that death, so all right.
Let's go for it.
No, not nat 20, it's 15. So Glitz survives the stampede and then just shoots Bannakaffalatta and collects his grotzits.
Yeah, plus a high motivating factor for Glitz is that he could salvage Bannakaffalatta to sell.
Oh yeah, he could sell his parts. Oh, yeah. He's gonna be like, not only do I get like the grotzits for winning this battle, I can also like strip them for parts.
Yeah, he is gonna
and strawberry jam.
Yeah, he's gonna be set on that with that motivation. He's gonna be.
All right, clear victory for Glitz, I think. He's one of the first humanoid characters to win for so long.
It is Banner.
Yes. Banner's humanoid, just small.
All right, so the next fight is going to be the security chief with a squad of guards versus the Candyman from the Happiness Patrol.
Oh.
So the security chief being the kind of sadistic, slightly incompetent, but still ruthless security guy from the war games with some of the gimp suit guards with
the one who isn't Steve Jobs.
The one who isn't Steve Jobs or Edward Brayshaw versus the Candyman, who's a sadistic, weird creature made from various different sweets who makes deadly sweets to kill people with.
Ooh.
I'll tell you who the winner is. It's security chief by default because Bassett sues the Candyman and stops his existence.
All right, let's.
Yeah, but this could be.
Let's see where it
British
is.
Candyman.
It's going to be at Castle Grindle. So that's Count Grendel's castle from the androids of Tara. So like a fairly typical medieval castle.
So we could just grab a sword and slice the.
Well, let's see.
So,
the security chief is going to have a cyber converted arm. I don't think that's really going to affect it too much. And the Candyman is going to be forewarned of the battle. So he's going to have time to prepare for the security chief to come in Castle Grindle.
The
problem is
prepare like a delicacy.
Yeah, the Candyman.
But can he get ingredients here though?
Probably it is. Yeah.
But honestly, the security chief is quite suspicious, though.
Yeah, but they'll still have like sweet fruits and
that's true.
Wine and stuff.
Well, he makes some like deadly wine gums or something.
Yeah, but if they
hang on. He knows his way around chemicals, so he probably could manufacture some sort of bomb.
Yeah, I mean there is a laboratory in there for Grendel's like scientific assistant.
Dylan, if these characters know they're going into a fight, do we really think they're going to be tricked into eating sweets and wine?
No, because what the Candyman could do is he could make like a weapon out of it. So, like for example, he could like maybe have a trap where like molten sweets are like poured upon the security chief when he walks through a certain place.
Yeah, that execution method in the Happiness Patrol where it's like there's a firing squad, but then they deliberately like sadistically play with the.
Is he devious enough to be expected to do that, Dylan?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. The Candyman would do that. The Candyman's like a proper psycho.
Fair enough.
He loves making sweets that kill people.
So with the security chief, though, he's very suspicious, and to be honest, his henchmen aren't the most absurd henchmen I've seen in
The henchmen,
but the thing is, what he could do is just, if he's ever suspicious of something, which he's going to recognise when there's a trap laid, is just send a guard through, and then the guard takes it, and then the rest through.
Is the security chief actually accompanied by the guards?
Yes, he's accompanied by the guard. He's got a squad of guards!
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like each guard goes down one by one, and then the security chief just loses.
Then I think these guards aren't like they're not like super guards or anything, but they did all right in the show. Like they took out a lot of enemy troops. They did their job okay. Yeah, their guns are very decent, and they actually used them in traps and stuff. Traps set by the security chief.
And they also have the weapons available to them in Count Grendel's estate, so...
Well, would the Candyman take any of these weapons?
I feel like the only thing in that estate that would probably beat the Candyman, though, is either water or fire.
They could put the...
No, I think their guns would kill him. Like,
yeah, I think guards really outgun the Candyman in this. Like, the guards... One of those guards can kill anything.
There's only so much they can do. Like just well down. Like just keep with the guns and weighing the Candyman down.
They could do what happened to K9 at the end of the story and just put Candyman on a boat and just leave him floating.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of Candyman does have time to prepare. Probably make something to be prepared. He probably takes out some of the guards.
The security chief is always going to outgun the Candyman.
Ultimately, it's just they have guns and he doesn't.
He makes a pie so sweet, it causes them to fly up and sniff the smell like a cartoon.
You just really want the Candyman to win, Kian.
I do.
Yeah, I think the
Candyman serves them everything from Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Right. Well, Kian, if you can come up with a plausible way for the Candyman to win, I'll put it to a roll.
Yeah, because I think the security
it would be traps, wouldn't it?
The security guard and the security guards are going to be too.
He burns. I think they're going to be. He lures them into like somewhere with a landing and just pours burning hot water on all of them and then eliminates them. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like the security chief and his guards are going to be far too militaristic, far too cynical to fall for anything like "come taste my pie."
Yeah, especially because the security chief is the most suspicious, cynical, piece of shit who can sniff a trap from a mile away.
I do not want pudding.
I'll make one alteration to that, Kian. Instead of water, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I
also-
don't know if he'd have liquid night.
To be honest, I don't think that even gets a roll. I think maybe some of the guards probably die, but the security chief ultimately he just outguns the Candyman. I don't think it's.
I want the
Do you think
stupid
those-
ones to win.
You know the
these
visors
are
that
led
they wear.
guards of
You
leadership.
know those visors that they wear to like mesmerize and interrogate prisoners. Do you think that would work on the Candyman?
Well, I don't think that they even need.
They just shoot him.
They just shoot him.
Yeah,
Could be in a position where they use
yeah, I
it.
think that's fair.
I've tried to argue for him, but he's dead.
Yeah, I think I gave you a fighting chance, kid, but I don't think you came up with anything that was going to work, right? So, security chief wins, Candyman out. Next round is the cyber leader, as played by David Banks and Earthshock. So a kind of slightly more emotional and wrathful Cyberman than he used to. And Benck from
is this the
Enemy
new
of the
Who
World. No, it's the classic Who one from Earthshock,
Oh,
the Fifth
right,
Doctor
yeah.
one. And then Benck from Enemy of the World, who's Salamander's second-hand man, an absolutely ruthless bureaucrat, but obviously not necessarily proficient with weapons. He usually gets other people to do his killing for him. But he is very manipulative, slimy. You know, he may be able to do something here.
Yeah.
Smashes plates.
Depends where it is. Yeah. All right, so they're in the
Does Bennett
candy
have
kitchen.
Oh,
Do they have gold?
That'd have been useful one time ago.
Yeah, it's certainly like in the candy kitchen. I think the Candyman would beat him.
Is there gold in the candy kitchen?
Well, we'll think about that in a minute. We just need to see if there's any advantages or disadvantages. So, the cyber leader has no advantage or disadvantage, and Benck knows everything about their opponent. So he knows that cyber leaders are
He knows
allergic to
about the
gold.
weakness.
He knows about the gold. So I think the question is there gold in the candy kitchen?
I
Yes,
don't think
because
so.
the Candyman would cook with gold leaf. He would definitely serve something like gold leaf or gold wrap.
That's very true,
final-
actually. Yeah, because that like maybe for like a really influential figure that he's executing, you put like some gold on it as kind of a thing. So I think
I'm
there's a limited amount of
Elena's
gold,
first husband.
but probably not enough to kill the cyber leader, but enough to slow him down quite a lot.
It's probably enough to throw him
Fairly,
I
gold leaf
mentioned,
is fairly common confectionhery. For,
I
like,
mentioned
puddings
that
and stuff.
part where Benck smashes plates, right? Are there any golden plates that he could just...
Well, like he's not in that caravan right now. He's in the candy kitchen.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but if
are there
there's
any
gold
golden
plates
plates
for the
in the candy
leaders.
kitchen that you can smash?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, there probably is.
Yeah,
You've got to
golden
imagine.
cutlery.
I reckon Helen
some
A
golden
for
knives.
special occasions would use golden plates and
Right.
stuff like that,
Okay.
or pink gold plates.
I think
More likely pink gold.
You might have some
if
gold
he
leaf,
gets-
not gold plates or cutlery.
Well, you not think you
I feel
would
like
have
this-
any of that in the candy kitchen?
I feel like you would. Just
I
for
think
special occasions.
roll above a 10, and there is golden cutlery in the kitchen. Is everybody okay with that?
Come on.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep. Go ahead.
There is golden cutlery in the kitchen.
Okay, Benny.
But the question
Hey, that
is,
gives me
can
advantage.
Benck find it before he's just shot?
I mean, those Cybermen aren't necessarily the perfect shots.
But it's a pretty confined space. Like it's a big for a kitchen, but it's not massive.
Yeah,
Alright,
I'd say
Even
that.
if there isn't,
what do you
without the gold
need to
plates,
do with
they
the
can still
gold to actually win?
throw any of the ordinary ones to throw him off a bit.
Yeah, but
They could at least just that. Could at least
although the thing is, Benck, because he knows everything about him, he knows that this Cyberman is kind of prone to being a bit like aggro.
Over the top.
So he could probably like kind of, if he said the right things, kind of manipulate the cyber leader into kind of getting a bit wound up. Maybe maybe hide behind, hide behind things, work his way round to like cutlery job because he knows everything about the cyber leader. He knows that gold kills him, so he's going to be searching around the kitchen for it. But I just think it's a question of, does he manage to avoid the shots long enough to find that?
Also,
Because
remember
all the
that-
Cyberman has to do is shoot him. He has to
Also-
manipulate him, find gold, and actually hit the gold with him.
Yeah,
The
I think he needs a
Cyberman
good
is,
roll to do that.
Yeah, he's
There's like a
uphill the way.
20-25% chance.
Also,
of winning
remember
it.
that set piece in the Happiness Patrol where Ace like turns on the oven and like sets out a jet of fire at the Candyman. Remember that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
So
I
it might
think
become-
if he is able to get a 17 or above, he manages to find the gold cutlery. before
that's
getting
fair.
shot. Is that everybody alright with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe give him a bit more chance with like the early stages of the plan, and then actually hitting the
Oh,
Cyberman
okay, yeah,
before he
that's a
gets
good
shot
point. Maybe
himself.
15 or above, able to find him.
Yeah,
and get
15
shot.
or above, and again
He-
15 or above.
He gets
hitting the
shot.
Cyberman.
He gets shot.
Okay.
Aww.
Like a valiant
Rip
effort
Bennett.
from Benck against a much superior foe, but no dice.
I hoped he would defeat the cyber controller by smashing plates.
It would have been
It was
funny.
the cyber leader.
Cyber leader. That
You
is
smashed the
one.
gold plate.
Excellent.
You thought you could
You
defeat
thought
me
you
with
could-
plates. You cannot, in fact.
Oh,
It's just
what?
a word like
Wait.
any other.
Guys, we've got like the ultimate fan wank battle that would happen if Big Finish were allowed to film TV. Rats and
Go
Warrior
on, go
Robot versus the Special Weapons Dalek. So again, we've already
Oh,
talked about
wow.
Rats and Warrior Robot. It's like a machine that can move almost as fast as light. It can shoot arrows. It's deadly, got good accuracy versus the Special Weapons Dalek, a heavily armored special Dalek with a gun that can cause an absolutely humongous explosion and can pretty much destroy most things.
It looks like a gimp from a
I'm-
Lady Gaga music video.
I'm sorry, but I have to. I'm sorry, but I think I have to argue for my boy, the Special Weapons Dalek, as much as I love the rest of the
Well,
Warriors.
let's have a look where they are. So they're in the
I'm
TARDIS swimming
gonna
pool
argue.
from the Invasion of Time.
How
Actually,
big
in
is
the
the
swimming
swimming pool?
pool? Or
Yeah, they're like just in that area.
Right.
Right. So, for circumstances, the Ratamori robot has no advantages and disadvantages. Same for the Special Weapons Dalek. So it's a straight fight in the TARDIS swimming pool.
And special weapons Dalek wins.
Really?
Yeah,
was
I really
from-
wanna
this was from
argue
Remembrance.
for-
Plus, this was the time of the Remembrance, so we know that Daleks, at least at this point, could elevate, so he can literally just fly up, bang.
Right, Dylan,
Also-
two questions. Two important
Yeah,
questions
go on,
for
Tom.
this. The how fast is this robot? Like, can it just literally zip around?
Yeah,
Wherever?
so like kind of, it can jump in the air, disappear, and then reappear somewhere else.
That is a very fast robot. And another thing, does it have anything which could pierce Dalek armor? Like,
So
beyond its arrows?
that is the
probably not.
big question. So
Never-
it has like
you
kind
never
of
see it.
shurikens and arrows, which could
That's not going to do
possibly
anything.
eventually wear it down, but it would have to survive a long time.
Yeah,
I think
it
it
only
did.
needs to get hit. It's going to
Yeah.
be very hard for the Dalek to hit this
Because
thing. I don't
Daleks
even
have
know if
been
it ever
killed
will.
by
And
spears
some-
and arrows, but that required being like surrounded for an extended period of time by them,
And
like
Also,
being
and
and plus,
completely
someone like
defenseless.
Leela was able to decapitate the not special weapons Daleks, the Raston Warrior robots, which also gives it a bit of a weakness.
Well, I don't think that comes into it, because I think the Special Weapons Dalek is definitely able to destroy it. Its gun definitely destroys it. It's just the question of, is it able to shoot it before it's completely worn down?
Are there
Well, I
any
have-
mirrors in the
I have-
TARDIS swimming pool?
Fucking hell.
Mirrors?
Well, yeah,
Mirrors,
like
why?
in the Five Doctors, where like the Dalek
Um,
shoots down the alley and blows
I
itself
think
up.
in a
Could
swimming pool, you'd be able to see your reflection in the window. You don't tend to get mirrors there, but you can see your reflection in the window.
Windows aren't good enough here.
I have quite a few counterpoints against the Raston Warrior robot.
Go on.
First things first, it's in the swimming pool area, so anyone who says, oh, you could just lure the Dalek into the swimming pool, we know Daleks are waterproof thanks to the Dalek invasion of Earth, whereas the Raston Warrior robot, we have no idea.
It
But
probably
I can
is.
assume
I think you give the Rassamora robot the benefit of the doubt. It's
Seems
watertight.
advanced enough and it operates outside.
Okay.
This
Um,
was the time of
secondly-
Remembrance, so we know that that's the Special Weapons Dalek can theoretically elevate.
Secondly, the Raston Warrior robot only responds to movement, and it depends
that's true.
on what orientation the Special Weapons Dalek is in when it shoots. So,
Yeah, so
Yeah, if they
what the
just
Special Weapons
face each
Dalek
other,
could
it's
do
game over.
is, because it's a Dalek and it's intelligent, it will eventually work out how it's working out where the Dalek is before it pierces the armor, and then can kind of just stand absolutely still until the Raston robot is kind of looking for it in a fixed position, and then just unleashes its extremely powerful bolt, and
Yeah.
it's just
And it would get obliterated.
yeah, because it needs only one shot, the Special Weapons Dalek, whereas the Raston Warrior robot probably needs like half an hour of bombardment to get through a Dalek.
And remember, the Raston Warrior robot isn't actually intelligent. It senses only movements. That's what the Doctor says. So
yeah, it's just basically it's just like a complete killer machine with no thoughts whatsoever. I think
the Dalek can stay still pretty easily. It's not like a human that sways or breathes. It could just stop and wait.
Yeah, and it's patient.
Yeah,
like even if it takes it a long time for the Raston Warrior robot to like go in the position it needs it to be, it can wait. And so I think Special Weapons Dalek wins this.
Yeah,
right, okay, so you've please vamp to the audience for a minute while I go through we.
Okay.
Hello.
I can't see anything, so if there are any questions, someone's going to read them to me.
Neither can I. I can't see any of the comments.
I will look at the group chat.
Go on.
From messages ages ago.
We've got a live audience. I didn't even know you people existed.
Yes, we do.
That's my that's my hello.
Yeah, it's mostly Hello is there a bonfire and Steve McQuark and Umbera Prime. Mostly them in the comments responding to our live conversation. And yes, I have acknowledged y'all. Feel free to comment something like I have been seen.
Quickly, someone let Ian Levine know Will's on this channel.
Oh fuck! No, I hate you.
Paging Ian Levine. He's here.
So you can come and.
I mean, if we say his name 3 times, he might just appear in the comment section.
If we say there's a
Victor
missing
Kennedy.
episode here,
Victor Kennedy. Victor Kennedy.
Oh. God, I'm so fucking fucked.
What are we drinking, lads?
Nothing at the moment.
Best time in a while.
Right.
I have a candle.
That's a despicable answer from all of you.
Sorry,
I'm not even going to ask what you were talking about.
Squeeze the lime.
We're trying to summon Ian Levine to find Will.
For God's sake. All right. Next.
I tried mentioning Victor Kennedy's name 3 times. It didn't really work.
Wait. Okay. Here's the next battle: a Zabie versus a Weeping Angel.
Who the fuck is a Zabie?
So a Zabie, Tom.
Sorry.
That's like a creature that looks like an ant or a termite, but it's human size with legs, and it can sometimes like clip things with its mouth, and that's about the extent of its powers.
How smart?
Angel.
Wait, can it even blink? Hang on, can it blink at all? Like, does it just have like those bug-like 360 eyes that never stop looking?
Oh, that's a good point, Tom.
Oh,
right.
We're winning. The zombies still win.
But it can still look away from it.
Well, let's see. Let's have a look.
But does it have those kind of bulbous eyes that are looking everywhere?
It does. So that's absolutely true, Tom. So I think actually game on, from what I was thinking. So they're in the Cybermen's tombs from Tomb of the Cybermen. And in terms of advantages, disadvantages, the Zabie has just ate far too much curry. And the Weeping Angel has grown to twice their current size, which I think is actually a disadvantage for a Weeping Angel.
That's not going to help
That's
at all.
actually a massive disadvantage for a Weeping Angel. Because now they're easier to see.
I mean, is this before or after the heating's been turned on?
So the real question is, well, no, it's frozen. But the real question is, how does this end? Like, because the Zabie can pretty much see it from any direction, even when it's got its back to it, because it's got the eyes on the side of its head. They're bulbous. They kind of, because it's like an insect, it almost has 360 vision, and the Weeping Angel's massive.
I've just found something. Apparently, curry is an anti-terror, so it could. So the Zabie itself could be disadvantaged in that way.
Well, I mean, it's full. Like,
I mean,
I know. But
I think the Weeping Angel was just de facto.
Apparently, curry has an adverse effect on that, so it could be disadvantaged.
I think the Weeping Angel does de facto win because out of the two, it's the one that actually has a means of hurting the other one, whereas the Zabie.
They're not indestructible, are they? Like, could it snip through the stone? Is that possible? How
No,
hard?
so
is
it would-
it's very
it would take
and it's
possibly
not even real.
100
And
years.
it's not even real
for it to
stone.
do that.
So what actually happens is, because the Zabie just run around mentally, the Zabie accidentally switches on the heating, the Cybermen come alive, and they start attacking the Weeping Angel.
Hang on, I thought about something. What if Weeping Angels are reflected within the Zabie's eyes? Wouldn't that create a whole bunch of other?
Oh no, we're not. No, we're not bringing that lore into it. Let's
Screw
just keep
that
it,
one.
Let's keep it
hated
Blink
that
Weeping
one.
Angels. Blink Weeping Angels.
Again, I think
Alright,
since
fair
the
enough.
Weeping Angel is the only one with means of attack, it does win. It's just a case of a
It can't attack.
Well, I suppose the Zabie is so stupid it won't even realise that that's what it's meant to be fighting. So it'll probably end up eventually walking into the corridors near the tombs, at which point the Weeping Angel can move, and just probably through
Yeah, but then it'll be in
slow
his timeline.
attrition.
Could maybe be grabbed around a corner.
Yeah,
Like,
or
just
also
one
the
leg's
fact that
out of
eventually
place,
the
maybe.
Zabie will just... Well, let me put it this way. If the Zabie can always see it, but can't kill it, eventually the Zabie will die, and the Weeping Angel won't. So,
It's come to this.
let's just say, this battle
trying
lasts
really
30
hard.
years,
Dumb
and
luck.
eventually the Zabie just dies, and the
Zabie-
Weeping Angel wins.
The Zabie do need to sleep, right? So eventually
Yeah, but
they'll
how-
just go to sleep,
Probably,
and then
yeah.
the Angel will kill it.
How badly
Either way,
does this
it will
Weeping
run
Angel
out of.
need Strand?
Oh yeah, won't they get any food, actually? So it'll starve to death.
I'm saying
Either
the
way,
Weeping
this
Angel.
is
What if
more
this is
retri-
like?
It's
Yeah,
just
the
a war of
Zabie-
attrition. Wait for the Zabie to die.
Yeah, to be honest, the Zabie is done well. It's probably more immune to the Weeping Angel than most creatures, but it just doesn't have any offensive prospects.
Really wanted to
It's just-
win.
If it had a DMAT gun, it maybe, but...
Yeah, to be honest, especially
It's
if
literally just waiting
fire
to
it.
die.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
Just
just,
waiting to die. Unfortunately.
especially if the Weeping Angel is twice as big, like even
Look,
snipping
are
through
we
the
sure it
ankles.
just can't
Just
like Looney Tunes its way to a victory?
No,
I wish it could, Kian, I wish it
it just starves to death, and the Weeping Angel wins by default. That's what happens.
Are we sure it
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
like
nothing
accidentally activate the Cybermen?
it probably wouldn't be able to register the Weeping Angel's movements. To be honest, it'd just see a still statue. Even if the statue moved, it wouldn't even register it. It's an amp.
What if it's in that one room?
Wait,
with
it's
the big
dead.
Cybergun?
No. It's in the tomb, so it's beneath the hatch.
I'm trying really hard here to think. of a
And
reason
Zabie
why
can't
it could win.
operate levers. Like they don't
Yeah, but it
really
might
have
knock them
arms.
over. It runs into a camera. It can knock over some levers.
No,
The only thing that would have
I'm
over the
sorry.
Weeping Angel is give it a
The
headache.
Zabie's lost.
Uh.
Zabie's lost.
Sorry,
I had the Quark victory. I can't complain.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you got that miraculous Quark victory.
Yeah, but it
And the
would've-
Weeping Angel is
would've
probably
won
one of
if
the
it had
favourites.
weapons.
Alright, so we
Okay,
have
that's it.
Kemel, the Turk from the Evil of the Dalek. So again, he's another silent, strong man. Versus an Ogron, an ape-like mercenary with very low intelligence but very high
Two
strength. So
racist stereotypes.
You know,
Oh,
I'm
Ogrons
not
are
going to
not a
say
racist
that.
We're
stereotype.
not going there. We're not going,
I'll
we're not
tell
going there.
that later.
Pink
but
shirt
not now.
wants to know your location.
It's not.
I wasn't going to say that.
Look, if you think
yeah,
that's meant to be black
basically
people,
that.
that says more about you than the writers. It's like it's meant to be like
Indeed.
a gorilla. Fucking hell.
The giant orc thing. It's
I'm
not.
just seeing if I can make you dig a
not
hole
possible.
here.
I'm not
Either
digging
way,
a hole. That's
Anyway,
fucking reasonable.
Unless the assuming they're both stripped of weapons, I think they're pretty evenly matched. But do tell the weapon situation.
Rob,
or whatever.
let's look at where they are first and advantages and disadvantages. So they're in the Panopticon on Gallifrey.
Wide open space. Okay.
Yeah, and Kemel is desperate for the toilet, and the
Oh.
So he
Ogron
lost.
has a cyber converted arm.
Okay,
You
so
just
Kemel
take a
lost.
piss, honestly.
Yeah, the Ogron has a gun, and like isn't going to be phased by being in a sci-fi place, whereas Kemel the Turk, I mean, he's freaked out by Daleks.
Kemel's. Yeah,
Like
Kemel's
he's not going to cope
dead.
being here.
sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
What's he
where-
got?
where
He
the
just got a
fuck is
sword.
Victoria?
No,
No, he doesn't even have a sword. He's just like he's unarmed. It's just his strength in the episode. So he's got
Turkishness.
nothing.
All he has is his Turkishness.
Turkey's strong.
All he has is
Yeah,
his
he
Turkish blood. It is enough.
to make the Ogron a kebab.
The only
He would if he
only
could.
slight chance Kemel
Well,
could
there'd probably
have
be
would
oh, wait.
The only slight chance Kemel could have would be like maybe motivation, like maybe he thinks the Ogron has Victoria or something. But even then, that wouldn't really help anything because the Ogron has a gun.
I mean, the Ogron does have a gun.
Do we think there's probably Time Lord bystanders? Do we think they'd have any effect?
Oh, they're fucking Time Lords. They never. The whole point.
Oh, that's true. Yes, they just like let them fight.
Actually,
in their own
They just carry on like nothing happens.
It depends. If Kemel manages to dodge one of the Ogron's shots and it hits a Time Lord, the Time Lords are probably interested in getting rid of the Ogron.
That's true. Well, I think let's see a roll to see if the Ogron is able to accurately hit Kemel the first time.
I think the Time Lords would intervene quite quickly because if they see Kemel there, if they see there, they're going to assume it's like a timeline manipulation.
Well, yeah, they're going to assume something's going wrong with the timeline. If
exactly, so they'll get involved
from different periods. Yeah, well,
yeah, they might even apprehend both of them. In which case, which would they get rid of? They probably get rid of the Ogron because they probably send Kemel back to his time.
If the Ogron rolls over a 10, it is able to shoot Kemel before the Time Lords are able to react.
And if the Time Lords intervene, then the Ogron's the one who's most likely to be disposed of.
The Ogron gets vaporized, whereas
Kemel will probably get sent back to his time.
The Ogron manages to shoot Kemel before the Time Lords arrest him.
I also think you're giving the Time Lords way too much credit because they will mostly just sit around and debate about it. Rather.
Yeah. Whatever. Kemel's dead.
They'll probably arrest him and then debate it.
They're not going to give a shit.
Look, Will, I'm saying the Ogron misses a shot, hits a Time Lord, and then the Time Lord basically decide to bundle the Ogron.
Yeah, but we did a roll on that key and then he hit.
I know.
The Ogron's screwed anyway, but he's still.
I think the Time Lords just react in shock and just murmur among each other. I think that'd be the extent of it.
Okay, I've got nothing else to argue.
All right.
No complications for the Ogron.
Bye, Kemel. Ogron wins. Okay.
Kebab removed.
So we're now on to the second round. So this is going to be Kroll versus the android.
Oh.
A very interesting matchup. I think there's going to be a lot of lore debate here. They're going to be doing this in the time lash. So that's like the big sparkly bit in a time corridor, which doesn't have much room for maneuver in. And in terms of advantages and disadvantages, the android is going to be stripped of all weapons, and the Kroll is just ate far too much curry.
Kroll wins.
Kroll wins.
The android.
It would have been interesting otherwise. Because if the android had its weapon, then it could have. There's no way Kroll could have dodged its weapon.
Yeah, but
it would
the thing
have been
is,
teleported.
though, is the teleporter powerful enough to transport a creature that massive?
We have to assume it is. We don't know of any limits to the teleporter, so we're just gonna have to assume it would.
You've got to assume that there's going to be like a limit to it, because remember, it's only designed to transport humans, and Kroll is the size of thousands of humans.
We don't have any reference point for like the mechanics of a teleporter, whether like a larger.
Why would they make a teleporter ridiculously more powerful than it would need to be?
Is it more powerful?
It's able to teleport.
You have no idea.
But also,
but even then, Daleks aren't that much bigger than people.
Even then, the android is like teleporting human-sized chunks of this creature every time it fires, which is a problem in itself for Kroll. But still irrelevant.
Irrelevant, yeah. I mean, the android is perched on one of those columns in the time lash, and Kroll just swipes it off, and it falls into oblivion.
Yeah, we lost a good fighter.
Yeah, I think
sorry,
the fact that the time lash would just be too disorientating for it. So
I'm very sad that we lost the.
That would have been a good matchup if they had the weapon.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been so interesting, but Kroll gets through. I think he's probably one of the favourites at this point, given his massive
Haywood, just acknowledging you in the chat.
All right, so we have a Mondasian Cyberman versus a Quark.
Right.
What a matchup. Right, it's at the T-Mat Relay moon base. So this is like a moon base that they use in the Seeds of Death. And for the Mondasian Cyberman, he is going to have a slight cold and the Quark is going to have neither an advantage or a disadvantage.
Quark wins because I say so.
Cyberman
It's hard to say
has
this.
literally been walking around the Antarctic completely unaffected, so I don't think a cold would.
It won't do anything to them.
I
The
think
whole-
the Quark's weapon
the
has
whole
more
purpose of the
range than the Cyberman's weapon.
Citation needed.
Based on what?
No, a
I
Quark's
made it up.
weapon is definitely more powerful because it that destroys buildings, whereas we've only ever
Exactly.
seen the cyber gun kill people.
Also, it's a space station, so it'll be a pretty close space. The Quark wins. Yeah.
Well, pretty close space. It's going to be kind of difficult for the Quark to even fire that weapon. We only ever see the
Well,
Quark
not that-
fire the weapons in the open.
Wait, what is this Mondasian Cyberman going to have as its weapon? Is it just the thing on its chest?
Yeah, it's the thing on its
I
chest.
think-
that it can
Would
take
we
out.
assume that would take out a Quark in one shot? In which case, it might just be who fires first.
I mean, the Quarks aren't that difficult to kill. I mean, a fairly standard laser gun kills them in the Dominators.
What, in just one shot?
It doesn't
Yeah.
have a laser gun. It has some
Yeah.
weird anti-flash weapon. We don't know. We've only seen those weapons be used on humans in the 10th planet. And the Quark's one, as you said, destroys buildings.
There's also-
Therefore, the Quark wins.
There's
I
also
think-
that head.
I think the Cyberman's
Mondasian.
greater mobility wins it.
I agree with that.
Nah, them
I
ones are
think so.
flying.
But also-
I think
also
it's
that- but it's also
whoever gets the first
There's
shot,
also that-
obviously. And if
Yeah.
Dylan says the Cyberman is more likely to get the first shot, then I'll go with
Yeah,
that.
well, I mean, the
I back
Quarks
the
are
Quark.
kind of dependent on those who control them. So without a Dominator, it's just going to be in fairly basic self-defense
Yeah,
mode.
it'll panic and blow itself up and ergo win.
It would not dare to fire a Dominator.
Yeah, I just don't see how the Mondasian Cyberman get. I mean, I think maybe put it down to a roll because it is possible that the Quark does manage to fire fast enough. So I think if the Quark gets a 17 or above, it manages to get a shot off before the Cyberman.
Yeah, in which case the Cyberman will blow up. Yeah, go ahead.
4, it doesn't manage.
Oh.
So Mondasian
Sorry.
Cyberman wins.
Cyberman doing pretty well.
Yeah, the cyber mafia, they're really coming through. Okay, next
they
one
start fighting,
is a
a bit weird.
Rutin versus the Eternal Captain Rack.
Rack.
Well,
Can a Rutin kill an Eternal?
Well, all it would need to do is to defeat it to make it go away. They still kind of play by the rules of ephemeral life or death, but they don't actually die. They're just defeated for a while and come back later. So, they are in the mansion from Ghostlight, Gabriel Chase. So that's a Victorian mansion.
What image have we used for that?
And so, who was first again?
The
I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. Bear with
Yeah,
me.
nobody can remember. Who was first? Oh yeah, the Rutin. I forgot. Yeah. So the Rutin is distracted by a woman, and Captain Rack doesn't have an advantage or a disadvantage. So so there must be a female Rutin somewhere.
As far as we know, they're just cabbages.
Yeah. Well, it's just let's just say it's distracted by something that's going to affect it against Captain
seen
Rack.
us on Taran.
Distracted by sprouts, whatever.
What it is, it's a female Sontaran as established in whatever that Sontaran's Ninth Doctor story is called.
Yes, that bloody thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
what
I
it's
did a
distracted
reaction on that, but it's actually a decent one, believe it or not. But yeah, distracted by one of those females.
So are
Right.
there any advantages or disadvantages?
Yeah, the Rutin is distracted by a woman.
Mamma
Sontaran.
mia!
Benissimo.
Woman Sontaran.
I assume this is a woman it's going to kill. Might just get it over and done with.
It's woman Sontaran.
Well, so the thing is, there are people inside this house. So does the Rutin try to disguise itself as it? But the thing is, even if it does, can Captain Rack see through that as an Eternal? Because we know that they're
Probably.
able to see into people's minds.
Probably.
Yeah, the Eternals can read minds, so I don't think that would even be an advantage for the Rutin.
Yeah.
Just read the minds and hear glub 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 glub.
Yeah.
I mean, the
They'll know-
Eternals are
also,
such an
I think-
overpowered.
Also,
The
I think we
Eternals are
have
such
to
a-
understand, given the mental situation that is the house from Ghostlight, I believe the Eternal would be more likely to understand Ghostlight compared to the
Yeah.
Rutan.
Well, they're probably
I mean,
similar
yeah.
creatures.
The Eternals are so
Knives?
overpowered that they've literally almost never appeared again in the TV show, at least. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the Eternals, they impose limitations on themselves to make, like, eternity bearable. So, Captain Rack's, limitation is that she's armed with, 17th century weapons. So, is she going to be able to kill it with her muskets?
Probably not, because I reckon.
Remember when
be
Leela
prepared for
throws
worse.
remember when Leela throws her knife at the Ruben disguised Rutin and it just doesn't have any effect?
But then, what kills it is
Yeah.
just,
Rutin's
a
up
kind
against-
of projectile.
Well, yeah, she'll have gunpowder barrels, and she can
Like
blow it
to have
up.
some weird
Rutin's up
stuff in
prepared
that
again.
room.
Yeah, she
Ruth
could
is
probably
prepared to-
improvise something using,
Yeah.
I
the
think-
gunpowder she has.
If a Rutan is like a jellyfish, then a musket ball is going to do some damage.
But it's
I think
but
it
it's
depends
but
on
they're
whether or not
also
it's disguised
equipped
or
enough
not.
to fight Sontarans, so I don't think it would be.
I think it might depend on whether or not they're disguised, because the Leela knife thing happens when it's disguised as Ruben, whereas the projectile thing happens when it's in its true form. So maybe that might have an effect. I don't know. We don't actually know the mechanics of Rutin anatomy.
Well, I think it's fair to
There's
assume
twigs.
that knives don't have an effect, but, kind of explosions and projectiles do. Kind of
Suppose
explosive projectiles.
Flame, I'm guessing, things with fire.
Yeah, I don't think it likes
burn the
heat
cells
because
and
it's kind of
stuff.
like a sea creature.
Yeah, so it can be burnt. It can be burnt away. In which case, she has the means.
Yeah, and there's plenty of fire about in the Victorian
Use
house
that.
that she could use.
Exactly.
And
Plenty
she'd
of
know it because she can read its mind and work
Yes.
out what its weaknesses are, and then just scavenge for those weaknesses and then kill it.
Take it down to the scullery and burn it.
Makes lovely Rutan stew.
Yeah, I think she's got a good.
Christmas
Because
wouldn't be Christmas about
given
this. Badly
Either the Rutan will be aggressive in this environment full of people, in which case it will be going after all sorts of people. It will be very obvious what it is, or it will be disguised, in which case she has time to set things up.
Yeah, and
Also,
I think
does she have the power?
even if the Rutan manages to convince people that she's a threat when it's in disguise, I mean, she's an Eternal. She can just kill them. she
Also,
can waste humans pretty easily.
Also, doesn't Captain Rack have the power of the Black Guardian on her side?
Yes, but she wouldn't be able to use that because she's only able to use the focusing point with that crystal from her ship, where she wouldn't have that with
Right.
it.
Right. Okay. Let's just pretend the Black Guardian is cheerleading for her in the background.
I don't want to imagine
one.
Valentine Dial in skimpy outfit.
You can do it, girl.
Right, I think we're saying
Kill the
Captain Rack.
Rutan.
Does everybody agree Captain Rack wins this then?
I say right.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He should be a more interesting opponent going forward as well.
All right, our next
she's
battle is Axos versus a war machine.
Sauce.
So,
One war machine.
Oh, okay.
I think
I didn't hear who Axos was fighting.
Well, let's see where it is.
yeah.
Can Axos manipulate the environment?
So
it
it's
depends on
desolate London East End. So that's the East End from Resurrection of the Daleks, where it's just an abandoned industrial area by the docks.
So it's literally where the war
Dagenham.
machines are in their story.
It's literally a
kind
Call
of,
of Duty
yeah.
map.
Yeah, so actually that's almost home turf for a war machine. Okay, so
Called Dagenham.
the war machine has a slight cold. I think this got it last time. It didn't really have an effect. And then
No weapons.
Axos is armed with a DMAT gun. So Axos somehow has control of a DMAT gun.
Yeah,
That's sort of the
Axos
offensive
wins.
capability.
Okay, Axos.
My main
Yeah,
question is
easy
going to
win.
be how does Axos
Easy
even
win.
kill things? But if it has a DMAT gun, who cares?
Well, no, it can Axos can
Shoot.
detach bits of itself as independent machines of death. So
But how does
and
it
it
kill?
can-
How does it kill people
Yeah,
exactly?
Well, kind of like its tentacles come off and explode on people, as well as it can also drain their energy if like there's enough axonite close to it.
Yeah, part of it can just turn into a gold bitch, and that gold bitch can wield the gun and shit.
Yeah. Think about how many axons the War Machine would have to kill to actually take out Axos itself.
Yeah, it need to kill quite a lot before Axos started to run out of energy. So I think Axos manages to win, especially with the DMAC gun. Like, you know, Axos sends a few of its kind of like foot soldiers to distract it. Meanwhile, it sends another one to kind of like snipe it from one of the buildings around with a DMAC gun, and that's that.
Plus, I can't remember what energy does Axos feed off of. I know it's nuclear energy, but does it?
It can feed off any energy, like
so
it can convert any energy.
So it can just milk the War Machine of its power, pretty much.
But you need to get enough axonite close to it to do that. I think it just uses the DMAC gun, as that's much easier.
I think that's fair, yeah.
Yeah. Right, Axos is through. Oh, that's going to be a hell of a quarter-final. Captain Rack versus Axos. Okay, so we're on the second half of the second round now, so we're getting there. We're going to be getting towards the very end of the game soon. So we have the Fat Controller versus the K1 Robot.
Oh.
So, pretty interesting.
Fat Robot.
Yeah, give us some specifics and we'll decide.
But they're in Maxtable's house, so it's a Victorian mansion again.
Okay.
Okay. First question.
The Fat Controller has just ate far too much curry, very in character. And the K1 Robot gains an ally. So what ally does the K1 Robot have? The K1 Robot has, as an ally, Ken the Councilman, armed with a council axe.
What? What?
Okay, you said council axe from a council van? Yeah,
you're taking up a council.
Have you got a license for axe?
Okay, I think the K1 Robot wins because, assumedly, the Cyber Controller is going to be so fat, it's basically inflation fetish.
Yeah, it's not just fat, it's also ate loads of curry. It's going to be like,
oh. It's more at this point.
It's literally going to be like it's going to be a Jabba the Hutt looking ass motherfucker in the corner. Well,
yes.
While the K1 Robot just like, please kill him for me, and then Ken the Councilman.
I mean, he uses like Ken the Councilman. That was a distraction.
Hacking up an obese Cyberman.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ken the Councilman wins it. Like he just axes him to death. He can barely even put like aim straight. He's so full.
Yeah.
Sabalom of the council is just axe.
I did wonder if like Maxtable's house would like bear some hindrance to the K1 Robot, but the hallways, like some of those ballrooms and stuff, they have pretty high ceilings. So I don't think that really matters.
Yeah, it's Victorian, so like it'll kind of be big enough just about for the robot to maneuver. But as it's got an ally, it almost doesn't even need that. Like I think the Fat Controller's screwed because he's just too full to even respond properly, and just gets like hacked to bits by Ken the Councilman.
I don't know. I feel like a Cyberman isn't going to be slowed down too much by being filled with curry. I mean, what is the K1's offensives?
Well, it has a laser gun.
Okay, they both have laser guns. Then they're pretty much equal. Then the K1's advantages of not being full of curry and having a council man with him.
Well, and also I think that the K1 Robot could probably take a few shots from the Cyber Controller, but the K1 Robot's gun could probably just disintegrate the Cyber Controller in one go.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
So I think in whatever way it happens, whether Ken the Councilman gets him or the K1 Robot gets him, one of them gets him.
He's
all in it.
Yeah, also, like maybe the K1 Robot tells him, like Ken the Councilman, that he hasn't paid his parking ticket, and that just sets him into an apoplectic rage.
The only thing I can think of is maybe Maxtable
cybernetic
come along and are just in the way. But then again, who cares?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but Maxtable probably has gold lying around.
Well, that makes it even worse for the Cyber Controller.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the transmutation of metal into gold.
The transmutation of metal into gold.
What if Maxtable comes along and he takes the K? Maximum will just come along and take both the Fat Controller and the K1 Robot and try turning them into gold. Either way.
Right, whatever. I think just
Yeah.
the cyber controller, the fat controller is screwed pretty much whatever way you
Yeah.
look at it. So the easy win.
Yeah.
Yeah, rip him.
All right, our next battle is Sabalom Glitz versus the security chief with a squad of guards.
Security chief.
Security chief of squad of guards.
No, I think let's look at location.
Win.
Let's see the advantages and whatever.
It's in the leisure hive, so this is like a domed area on a desolate nuclear wasteland with lots of kind of pleasurable amenities in.
Pretty neutral then.
Yeah, and so for Sabalom Glitz, he doesn't have advantage or disadvantage, and the security chief has grown to twice his current size. So there's a giant security chief waddling around.
Oh,
Go kill
I'm just
him.
thinking of him. I'm just thinking of him wearing that helmet with that, just like this giant kind of like lighthouse.
He's just got the
strap.
helmet almost
This-
like it goes on his pinky.
Yeah. No, the helmet's
Hang
got
on,
to be
is it
big
just
as
the
well.
security
He's,
chief?
I want him
he's
to be
gonna
wearing
struggle
that
to-
massive helmet, just like looking like a giant tower, almost like a big lamppost.
Right, I think the big question is, do the security guards also double in size?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
No, I'd say
that's a good question.
So the
Surely
No, I
whatever
think it's
makes
just
him
for
big
him.
makes them big.
No,
What
I
benefits does
think
Glitz-
given
They're
the
also
fact that
current.
they're kind of a cohesive package, they must
Okay,
all
yeah,
double in
I get
size.
that.
Yeah.
They all
And I
double
think
in
that's going to be an
size.
issue in the leisure hive, because while there are some big rooms in it, there's also a lot of tight corridors.
I think we're also going to have to say that their guns double in size as well. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the question of whether their clothes don't double in size as well, and
become
that brings
pissed
up a very uncomfortable
What-
issue if their
what
clothes
was
don't double in
Glitz's-
size.
So their
That's what I'm
clothes
glad
don't double if this is written by Stephen Moffat.
No, that,
Remember,
thankfully not.
remember, Sabalom Glitz is a bit of a coward as well, so I reckon this would probably intimidate him and
That's true.
make him a bit more
But
nervous.
if they're struggling to get around, might Sabalom Glitz be able to have time to kind of formulate a plan or a trap or something? There's plenty of traps you
No.
can make in the leisure
What
hive.
what trap? Come on, for like 16-foot tall guards with like
Yeah,
laser
Well,
guns that
think about
can
this
kill,
way.
giant laser guns that can kill Time Lords, just blitzing everything. It's
Yeah,
going to
well,
be like
all
that
I'm gonna
scene
say
of-
is-
of,
If Glitz
of
can
Watchmen.
get out of the immediate area, he's going to have a lot of time because they're going to struggle to get through the corridor. And if he manages to get to the cloning facility and clones like an army of himself, because Leisure Hive has a cloning facility, and clones an army of himself, he could win.
What's he got? Is he the guy with the sniper rifle?
Yeah.
He's only going to have a sniper rifle unless he can clone the sniper rifle.
Well, yeah, but imagine if he gets 1,000 of himself, go tear them apart.
Okay,
They're massive, whole squad of them.
Dylan,
And they've got really big guns.
Dylan, did Glitz have any advantage?
No advantage or disadvantage.
I also think you're giving Glitz way too much credit because whenever he sees a threat, he's just the kind to sort of like try and make himself look really meek and just
which is what I was saying. Which is what I was saying earlier about him being a coward.
Right, if he gets
Yeah.
over 13, he manages to escape the immediate room. He does. And I say at this point, he probably just runs away and loses by default for running away.
We've got to give him a little bit more credit.
I think
Not
so
too
as
much
well.
credit, but a little bit more credit than that. He's trying to fight. Everyone so far we've assumed they stand and
Yeah,
fight.
that's true. Well,
So
Either way, I'm pretty sure like if they double there's
Glitz to win.
there's a normal sized man versus like let's be charitable and say like 5 giant sized men. Like let's say like the
yeah, it's like
security-
Giant
five
weapons.
10-foot men.
Glitz would Empire Strikes Back this. I forgot where they even are. Where are they?
The Leisure Hive.
Yeah, there's some rope in the Leisure Hive. He's doing some Empire Strikes Back maneuver, running around all their legs, pulling them over, knocking them out, and smashing their heads in with rocks.
I would say it's a bit like Empire Strike Back in that it's like a rebel with like a small rebel gun against like a advancing line of AT-ATs.
Exactly. He just, make them fall over.
No, they lost that battle. They get obliterated. He gets obliterated.
Yeah, that's because
Yeah,
there's so many of them.
I'm pretty sure Glitz loses this. Like,
Yeah, they
combined with
probably
the fact that
eventually get him. They eventually manage to corner him and kill him, sadly.
But
as much
A,
as I
there's
wanted Glitz to
more
go
of
through.
them than there are of him, and B, he's a coward, so he just loses.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll concede to that. Okay, so the security chief is through.
Win.
And now, tasty
rooting
one
for him.
here. David Banks, Cyber Leader versus the Special Weapons Dalek.
I mean,
Special
is
weapon
it that tasty?
Sorry.
Special weapons Dalek. Let's
Right,
see what
special
this
They're in,
Let's see
they're
what's
in
going on.
the hacienda from the two doctors, so they're in a Spanish mansion in the middle of the countryside. And the Cyber Leader gains an ally, so the Cyber Leader is going to have on his team a Naimon. And then the Special Weapons Dalek has a slight cold. Why do they keep rolling 12s?
I don't know.
See,
The
if you
Naimon.
had said Special Weapons Dalek is stripped of its weapons, then it would have a losing chance. But I'm pretty sure
It has nothing.
without that, it just still
it's-
wins.
Yeah, the Special Weapons Dalek probably just destroys the entire building with its
Just
massive
kaboom.
gun,
Yeah.
and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a
Yeah.
Naimon, I think
Yeah.
the Cyber Leader just... It's the Cyber Gun maybe could eventually kill a Dalek, but the Special Weapons Dalek is just... It's all it needs is one shot and not even an accurate one. Which I
Yeah,
think...
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Because if it was against a regular Dalek, I think the Cyber Leader would probably win, but not against Special Weapons Dalek.
These Naimon look gnarly.
It's
Naimon
not
and Sun
looking
Control
excellent.
are just instantly screwed.
Alright, we got an interesting next one. A Weeping Angel versus an Ogron.
Ogron.
Angel.
What's an Ogron gonna do?
Well, so they're in the IE compound, so that's like the International Electromatics compound from the invasion. So there's like, freight trains full of Cybermen, deactivated Cybermen there, and like IE guards. So for the Weeping Angel, the Weeping Angel gains an ally. So the Weeping Angel, the Weeping Angel's ally is an amalgamation of all girl boss Muffat women.
Oh,
Would it even
That's
be able to
scary.
work with that ally? Or would it just kill
So
them?
the song in Glory!
Yeah. Yeah. And
Come on, they just
and the
they
Ogron
just make out.
has grown to twice its current size.
Imagine this giant Ogron and a bunch of women just battling.
So we got a 14-foot Ogron versus a girl boss and a Weeping Angel.
The Ogron drop kicks all these women at least before it dies, please.
Well,
yeah,
to
do you
be-
know what? No,
Do
do
we
you know
think an
what? I think
Ogron knows
that-
what a Weeping Angel is, though? I think that needs a role, because they do know about lots of different races, so they may
I just
know what a
think
Weeping
the
Angel is.
Ogron's just going to
Also,
hunt
remember-
the Weeping Angel.
let's
Remember
roll.
the
I say 10 or above that Ogron knows what a Weeping Angel is. Because it knows about alien races and stuff. It does know what a Weeping Angel is, so it'll know that
Yeah,
it
just
needs to look
punch
at
it.
it.
I think
just
we're
kicks
forgetting
it.
that the IE vicinity has cameras and shit, and Vaughn is just going to be checking the cameras like Packer. He's just going to see the Weeping Angel. and he'll be
Packer!
fine.
Why is there
Packer!
Why is there a 50-foot gorilla in my building?
It's not 50 foot, it's just going to be like 14 foot.
Why is there a lady with a
What's
strap
with the
on in
King
my
Kong
building?
shit going down in our vicinity?
Alright. As the
One thing I
Ogron
want
knows
to
what a
posit,
Weeping
though.
Angel is, and as it can probably just kick the girl boss away, is an Ogron strong enough to destroy rock?
I think it
No,
gives,
and it's
I
not
think
even-
it gives the angel a good kick.
But I don't think it can destroy it.
But
think
it's got a
angels-
higher.
Well, it's brittle.
It's
And I
like
don't
a-
think
You
it's
can pick it up and throw it.
Well, if it throws it really far, because Ogrons, remember, they are like way stronger than humans, and this one is double in size, so it's even stronger. If it throws the Weeping Angel really far, could the
If it
impact
knows what the
damage it
Weeping
enough to
Angel
count as a win?
is, if it comes face to face, the Weeping Angel is
I'm not
big
sure,
enough. It
though.
could just throw it and smash it.
I mean, then
Yeah.
again,
Yeah, like just
That's
throw it
because
at concrete,
Weeping
throw it at
Angel-
a building.
But the
Yeah,
angel
I mean-
performance-
I don't know if
And even in the
the
winter
how
state,
strong
they
the
are still
angels are, but like unless these angels, their stone is stronger than any other stone. I think
think-
the
I'm
Ogron
pretty
can
sure
smash
they.
it.
I'm pretty sure they are.
on the Weeping Angel's essentially unkillable though, because that's even
It's
going by
unkillable.
solely blink. They're like you
Yeah.
can't kill us.
Unkillable, but if he
Unkillable,
manages to
can't
smash it enough, it's kind of made a bit useless because it can't move in as very
Yeah,
well.
like-
Maybe you could
It's
do
still
like
there, though,
maybe you could do like an Adam's Family, and its hand can crawl back to get the Ogre.
Thing is, it probably would. That's something
Yeah.
I can imagine being written into a Weeping Angel story.
That would
but,
actually be a
like,
good
if he
addition
smashes
to
it
it.
enough.
Stone hand,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, what do we think then?
I will posit this. If there's like a Moffat girl boss in the story, and we are going to have to assume that the story has been written by Stephen Moffat, in which case whatever happens is going to be decided by the character with some lengthy speech.
Do you think that if an Ogron threw it into the side of a building, it'd smash and, like, the Weeping Angel wouldn't be able to kill it?
Privileged to be part of this
I think
conversation.
that's possible. In your opinion. Because obviously we don't know this for certain. It's all fake lore.
I think we've also forgotten the fact that if it's the...
Would the Ogron not be attacked by the Weeping Angel first?
Yeah, but he knows what it is.
The
He knows
knows
not
what
to look
it
away.
is. We rolled to see if it knew what it is. It knows what Weeping Angel is, so it knows it needs to stare at it.
I think we've also forgotten the fact that...
Yeah.
Would it smash?
Well, that's what we're trying to work out.
Yeah, probably.
It's also twice as
Lily
big.
thinks so.
Ogrons are quite
I
strong.
think we've also forgotten the fact that the international electromagnetics vicinity, so there's loads of obstacles.
Sort of strong, big, and slightly stupid.
It's the international electromagnetics vicinity, so there's loads of obstacles like trains, and it's also very dark. So,
well, it's not very dark if it's a mid. Well, actually, let's roll to see whether it's day or night because that could have an impact.
If you look at the episode,
right, so let's say above 10 is day, below 10 is night. It's night. Okay, I think the Ogron screwed
Yeah, the
that.
Weeping Angel wins.
Yeah.
Plus, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be distracted by kicking the girl boss.
He just fucking yeets the Moffat girl boss. Like, does
Distracted by a woman, just tossing her.
Oh no! Oh no!
And then the
not
Weeping Angel just
Tasha
like
Lem.
touches its toe, and that sends it back in time.
See,
Although, Dylan,
it would
what
be,
I
I thought it'd be out of character for the Weeping Angel to have an ally, but it's the girl boss is being an ally by being just a fucking throwaway.
All right, there we go. So
I did say, Dylan, if there's a Moffat girl boss, then the story was written by Moffat. Therefore, the girl is the deciding factor in all of this. She is central to the entire outcome.
True. All right, there we go. So Weeping Angel wins. I mean, surprisingly close there, given it was an Ogron versus a Weeping Angel. But there we go. So our next one is Kroll versus a Mondasian Cyberman. I think the Mondasian Cyberman's got an uphill battle here.
Let's go.
Just
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
All right. So this
I don't think
takes
it's Cyberman
place
It's in the desert. We've
the
got
Dulcus
it.
Island of Death. So that's the Island of Death from the Dominators, the radioactive islands. Not radioactive anymore because the Dominators absorbed it, but was previously a radioactive test island.
Oh, if it was radioactive, I think Kroll would be. Well, it wouldn't die immediately. Not quick enough.
But then the Mondasian Cybermen were weak to radiation, but it's all gone because the Dominators sucked it up. Right, so Kroll has a slight cold. Why does it keep rolling 12s? Why does the... Alright, I'm using a different D20.
Yeah,
I'm using a different D20 from now on. Okay, and then the Mondasian Cyberman has grown to twice its current size. And 6s! There's all 12s and 6s! I swear I've got way more options we haven't had yet, but it just doesn't...
Yeah, can we just roll again? I want a different...
Fine, I agree. Yeah, let's roll again. Alright, okay, so for Kroll... he is having an existential crisis.
Okay.
And Mondasian Cyberman gains an ally, and his ally is Syl from Vengeance on Varos. The little creature goes...
Phil's just going to be watching and essentially masturbating at all the fucking...
Yeah, Syl's going to be a completely useless ally.
Phil's getting ideas.
He's going to film it and send it to Jeremy Corbyn.
No. Then again, Syl is a sea creature, and it is an island, so Syl could go in the sea. Don't know what he can do from there.
Yeah, but Kroll's a big squid, so it can come in.
You don't really know.
Gonna leave.
He's literally just a little slug thing. He's not going to do...
Yeah, I think in this case, Kroll just comes towards the island with a tentacle, grabs the Mondasian Cyberman, and just squeezes it to death.
Yeah.
And that's
I
it.
think that's fair.
I don't think it's close.
If this was a story, so many Mondasian Cybermen would probably die before the story.
I think the existential crisis would just backfire against the Mondasian Cyberman because the Kroll would just be like, "What's the point of this?"
Yeah, the Mondasian Cyberman wouldn't exactly give it any kind of a effective counselling or words of comfort, so it would just dispose of it.
I'm Bill Potts, Kroll.
Alright, there we go. So, into the semi-finals goes Kroll. I think he was always a favourite. Alright, now we have Axos versus Captain Rack. I think that's going to be a really close one. They're two really powerful ones. That's like, honestly, I think to have that in the quarters is quite unlucky for both characters. So they're on the spaceship Hyperion 3, which is a luxury spaceship, almost like a liner Cunard ship, like the Titanic, except for in space.
It's a bit like the ship that they the team raided in Blake 7.
Yes, the Starship Princess.
Yeah.
Okay, so Captain Rack has no advantage or disadvantage, and Axos has a slight cold again. I'm re-rolling that. I'm getting rid of has a slight cold. I'm sick of it.
No more colds.
No more colds. For Axos is a little bit drunk. So I think Axos, because it is an organic entity, probably does have the ability to get a bit high. So let's just say that's happened. So it's not at peak capacity. It's enjoying life, but it's not at peak capacity.
It found the first Doctor's pipe.
The only thing I could think of is this Hyperion 3, there'd be voids and like an exercise room, but I don't really know how that would change anything.
I think the problem is Axos is going to struggle because it has to invade a small confined space, whereas what it likes is a lot of open space to kind of send lots of its minions out. And so I think that's going to give Captain Rack a lot of time to prepare.
Also, are Vervoids there or not?
No, it's just the Hyperion.
Did they make that much of a difference?
Well,
if Vervoids were there, they could poison Axos with their spike things.
I think Captain Rack has time to prepare. How would she go about killing Axos? What weapons are there on the ship? I mean, there's basic weapons, but that's not going to do it.
They try driving the Hyperion 3 into the black hole of Tartarus, so Captain Rack could just steer
that's a good point. I don't see do that.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, maybe Captain Rack, because remember she's a pilot of a ship in space. She could try to get away from Axos by driving it towards the black hole, but then because she's very skilled, could manage to kind of veer away from it, and then Axos is caught in the black hole's orbit.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I think
would Axos be outside the ship?
I think she rolled lucky with the Hyperion 3.
Yeah, because Axos would have to land. Because Axos is starts as a kind of a creature going through space that's spaceship sized.
Yeah, so the rubber chicken is caught in the black hole orbit.
Does the ship have weapons?
Well, I think what we need to do is to roll as to whether she's able to do this, though, because that's quite a skilled maneuver. I think she can do it, but I think she needs to roll a 14 or above. She doesn't manage to do it, she goes in the black hole.
Okay, so...
But in that case... Wait, in that case, Axos does as well, doesn't it? If it's going with the ship, it's following her, obviously, to fight her.
Yeah, but I think Axos wins by virtue of dying last.
I don't know. They go in together. They die at the same time. If they get sucked in a black hole, they both go down the drain.
Alright, well, if it's a draw, I think we need to do a re-roll then, of location and stuff, so they're going to have to restart the fight.
No. If Rack can't pull off the maneuver, she just falls into the event horizon while Axos just stops and just watches her go in.
Well, no, because it's in the gravitational pull of a black hole at this point. And I don't think Axos has the skill to escape that.
Yeah, Axos isn't going to just wait as the ship speeds off into space. Axos probably doesn't even know where
we'll do a roll for Axos to see if it can escape it. I think it needs a much higher roll, though, as it's not skilled. I think it needs 17 or above. It doesn't. Right, so we need to redo it. They're going to have a rematch.
Yeah. First rematch.
Alright, so they're on the Earth Freighter, so another spaceship, so a giant cargo spaceship.
Okay.
No black hole this time.
Captain Rack is desperate for the toilet. And Axos gains an ally. And their ally is Fusham from the Seeds of Death.
They on the ship.
So Fusham's a quite cowardly technician.
Yeah, he's the guy who who basically has to assist the Ice Warriors because he's intimidated by them, but eventually he pulls the rug out from under them. And
But he
kills
has
himself.
technical skill though. He has enough technical skill to be of use to Axos.
Especially if he's on the ship, he could kill the ship.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of for Captain Rack is that she does the same maneuver as before, except instead of a black hole, it's Earth, because it's going to crash into Earth.
And that would probably be an easier orbit for her to escape from. Alright, well, I think first we need a roll to see if Fuchsium is able to disable the ship before she's able to do that maneuver. So let's say...
Wait, can Axum get through the gravity of Earth? Would it burn up?
Well, it has landed on Earth before, but, it could burn up. But let's roll to see if Fuchsium disables the ship. I say he needs 12 or above, because he's a skilled technician, but he might get caught.
Yeah.
He doesn't manage to disable the ship. He fumbles it in his, anxiousness. Right, now, does Captain Rack manage to lead them into orbit and is able to escape that orbit? So I think this is an easier maneuver, so she only needs to get 11 or above. She doesn't manage to do it. So the freight is crashing into Earth.
Wait, hang on. That seems a bit of an unfair roll. Is there anything that would stop her from doing that on the ship?
Well,
Cyberman?
it's just a difficult maneuver to be able to look like you're crashing down to Earth and then bouncing off.
Could she actually know if she was right?
Pilot. I feel like it's a bit easier than 50-50, that.
Okay, well, I can do a reroll if people want to overrule my idea.
Only if other people are with me on re-rolling for that one. You think it would be more than 50-50 she pulls that off?
Well, suggest an amount and then see if people agree.
I mean,
I'd say probably 3/4 likely, so 5%.
So 6 or above.
25% she doesn't. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Alright, fine. Natural 1. Critical failure.
Oh, she's fucked it. Okay.
Yeah, she's dead.
Okay.
Right, now let's see if Axos manages to escape. And this is, again, easier maneuver, but they're not as skilled as her, so I'd say they need to get 9 or above. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They manage to escape, Axos wins.
Oh, yay.
Oh, very D&D,
Plus,
that one.
Axos has actually successfully landed on Earth before, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it has.
It
Really,
could possibly
kind
make...
of almost a shock victory for Axos there. That's going to be a really interesting battle, that first semi-final, Kroll versus Axos. That's going to be really good. Alright, the K1
I think we gave
robot-
Rack a lot of chances there, because
Yeah.
in a normal circumstance, you probably wouldn't win against it unless there was a ship involved.
Right, the K1 robot versus the security chief with a squad of guards. I have no idea how he's made it this far. I have no idea, but he has.
Got a squad of guys with pretty good guns.
That's true. That's
also-
true.
You weren't complete morons in the episodes they were in.
All right.
Somewhat disciplined
Yeah,
and drilled.
it depends on whether or not they are more competent than unit guards.
So they are fighting at the Inferno Project, and we have to roll to see whether it's in our universe or the fascist universe. It's in our universe.
Ah, damn it, no eye patches.
No eye patches, sadly. The K1 robot has a cyber-converted arm. If anything, I think that actually downgrades his arm.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, no, his arm... Oh, no.
Wait, does he lose a gun with that?
No, he can still have a gun.
But
And
if it's a Cyberman arm, then he might lose the gun that his normal
The
arm
security
has.
guard... the security chief, gets no advantage or disadvantage. Right, so...
I mean, the
I
robot's
don't...
still...
K1 robot, I mean, a tank couldn't destroy it. I don't think
Yeah,
the security guards are able to destroy it.
yeah.
I think
it's fine.
Yeah.
they all go in, go zzz, it does nothing, and then the K1 robot just shoots them.
How did their guns work? Were they just kind of torturing organics, those guns?
Yeah, I think those guns are kind of more against organic material, it looks like, because it doesn't have an impact explosion. It looks
it
like
seems
it's
like it's
frying your
about-
insides.
Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah,
about pain receptors and stuff.
If they chucked like hundreds of unit guards at the K1 robot and it didn't have an effect, I'm pretty sure 5.
Yeah, I mean, it took the doctor's clever
saying
science
that.
to kill it, but
Yeah.
and I don't think the security chief has any clever science up his sleeve.
The security
That's a
chief has
shame,
made
but-
it far enough.
I was
He can hide
really
into
loving.
buildings.
I was really
K1
loving
robot
this
was
Kroll
rooting.
run.
I was rooting for them, but I don't think they've. I
Yeah,
don't think they've
Yeah,
got.
I was
They've
rooting.
lost.
it was a great
Like, I
run,
had
a
to-
really impressive run for quite a weak character. But it's
I think
come
with
to
a
an
squad
end.
of those guards, he's all right. To be honest,
I think
Good
that helped him against.
defensive
I think he
capability.
got lucky with being against other characters which were more susceptible to a squad of guards. but
the
killed him.
Candyman, whatever that nonsense character was called.
Hey, leave the Candyman alone.
All right, our
If you
next,
leave me and my children alone,
our next one is the Special Weapons Dalek versus a Weeping Angel. So first of all, I think a Special Weapons Dalek can definitely destroy a stone Weeping Angel.
That's
yeah, kill it or not, that the body is being
Definitely,
eviscerated.
whatever it can do, it can definitely turn it to dust.
All right,
Yeah,
they're
Which
in
one is it?
Castle Peladon, so they're in like a sci-fi medieval castle.
It's very dark.
The Weeping
I
Angel
can't imagine this thing blinks.
has forewarning of the battle, so the Weeping Angel knows it's going to happen and what it's fighting and has time to prepare.
Really change its behaviour though.
And the Special
Hello.
Weapons Dalek has just ate too much curry.
it's
so
leaking out of its visual slip.
It's got like yellow stains on like the joints between
turning-
it.
The joints just have like curry bubbling out.
The Dalek mutant inside of it is the curry monster from Red Dwarf.
The lamb.
The Vindaloo. The mutton Vindaloo.
Mutton Vindaloo.
So first things first, Castle Peladon is very dark. Secondly,
But do Daleks blink?
I don't think they do.
what kind of Weeping Angel?
Well, they do have an eyelid.
Obviously,
No,
their
but this
eye
is
beam.
but this isn't those Daleks though, Tom. This is the
old ones.
These
Yeah.
are like these are very special Daleks. The Special Weapons Dalek. They're one of the cybernetically enhanced Daleks that
Okay.
Davros created as his like new Daleks.
The abomination.
Also, Weeping
Okay,
Angels
got
have
it.
pretty inconsistent rules because sometimes they can only move when they are factually not being looked at. Like it doesn't matter. Like even if it's a tiny bug, they will freeze. Like they just instantly freeze if they are being seen by anything. And then there's other law where it's like if they think they are being seen, they will stop. But like it depends on their perception. Like in that fucking Matt Smith Angel 2-parter, they think Amy is looking at them when her eyes are closed, so they are able to make themselves.
I think we should ditch the late Moffat stuff.
Yeah, I think we've got to go by Blink law alone. Otherwise, it just gets too confusing.
If we weren't doing
Blake
it,
Law-
we have to talk about that bloody Statue of Liberty angel.
Yeah, because in the Matt Smith episode, it's like they do it on instinct, whereas in Blink, it's like they're not like it's a fact of their biology. They will freeze upon any visual contact with anything.
Well, there's one important thing we need to consider here.
Then it's Chibnall where they
Weeping
can talk
Angel-
when they're stopped.
Weeping Angel has time to prepare. The Special Weapons Dalek will know what the Weeping Angel is and how it defeated, but the Weeping Angel has time to prepare. So what do we?
I don't think
could
that'll
do?
make much of a difference, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think Weeping Angels are fairly linear creatures. What's it going to do to prepare? It's going to go after the
I
Dalek in the same
imagine-
way.
I imagine the Weeping Angel will just do a part 1 cliffhanger, and wait for the Special Weapons Dalek to come along, and they'll just push the statue of Axor.
Push the Agador statue.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's impossible, to be honest. I think that should get a roll.
Yeah. 'cause
No,
remember,
I
it's
don't
very
think-
dark.
I don't think Weeping Angels do it, kill him that way, don't they? They just go for
They
stuff.
can. Remember, the first time we see a Weeping Angel, it chucks a rock
But
at
also-
Sally Sparrow.
And also, bear in mind this Weeping Angel.
That was all stage.
It probably won't kill the Special Weapons Dalek, but it has a very good chance if a statue lands on top of it of damaging its visual circuits.
Yeah.
I think this is quite speculative, so it's got to be a high roll.
Fair enough. What do you think?
I don't know, because remember, it has time to prepare, and it's very dark, so it's...
Above
I
17.
think-
I think 15's more fair.
I don't think
it's
Weeping
actually
Angels
not
are the sort of
take
things that
out
set
space.
traps or change their behaviour based on
Okay, fine, 17.
foresight.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
14, so no, it's not able to pull this off. Yeah, I
It
just...
I
was
don't
below
think it's
15
fair.
anyway. It was below 15 anyway.
But is it possible that the Weeping Angel is able to sneak up on it?
Yes.
It always
kind
tries to
of.
sneak up on it anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then thinking about it, with the Special Weapons Dalek, because obviously most Daleks have a forward-facing eye stalk, which would obviously be more vulnerable to Weeping Angel, but the Special Weapons Dalek doesn't have that. So can it see 360? Because it kind of has
I don't
that
know if it
visor that
can.
goes 360.
Where was the
I
I
second?
believe
again?
there was some. I think it was mentioned in a book.
Castle Peladon.
I suppose. Quite a
Tight corridors.
claustrophobic then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from the main halls and things like that, it'll be quite claustrophobic.
That can help the Dalek though, lines of sight wise.
Yeah.
They can't
I'm
come
still
from any
salty
direction.
It just
about that
depends where it
fear
comes
of the
out.
trap thing. So.
It also means that the angel can't like flank it as easily. It can't just like.
Also,
walk
remember
around
there
it.
are giant like curtains and shit in Castle Paladin, so it can hide behind those or pull those down.
And there are also people walking around it all the time, which will make the Weeping Angel freeze.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
True.
But Dalek would.
Dalek would just kill him. And like
they'll just
these
ignore the
medieval
Dalek,
guards, no hope against the Dalek. Like they're just getting like obliterated. Whereas the Weeping Angel, that's stuck in place for a while until they either lose interest or blink.
Yeah, I think they might be able to figure it out as well. That
I think we're going to assume that
thinking, they might.
I think we're going to assume that Agador or any delegates won't have any effect either. So.
Well, but this is just a normal day in Paladin Castle. There's no intergalactic conferences.
What I think is that it's more likely the Dalek sees the Weeping Angel first before the Weeping Angel, as opposed to the Weeping Angel getting to the Dalek before being seen. And on that basis, the Dalek is just going to shoot it. So I think the Dalek is probably more likely to end up in the position where it's going to kill it.
I think that sounds like a roll, because that doesn't sound certain.
None of this is going to be certain, no, because it depends on whether the Weeping Angel is able to sneak up on the Dalek or the Dalek sees the Weeping Angel first. I think it's a bit more likely that the Dalek ends up seeing the Weeping Angel first.
I agree.
It depends how.
Oh no! I thought.
What I was going to say then, because the Dalek bumps on there, they're meant to be sensing movement all around. So I reckon, even if it doesn't have the traditional eye stalk, it can still sense that something's around it.
Yeah, that's a bit of a game changer. So the Dalek is unlikely to miss it.
No, I thought the likelihood of a Weeping Angel being cunning enough to set a trap would have.
Yeah, but then all the characters who come across Weeping Angels were they would have just gotten taken from behind. I'd imagine.
Well, I agree with you, Tom. I think it's slightly more likely that the Dalek's able to get it first, but I think it needs a roll. I think.
I'd agree.
I think Weeping Angel needs above 12 to sneak up on the Dalek.
I'd say above 14.
Yeah. 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
14 or 12, guys.
Above 13.
13,
right. 13.
Okay.
The Weeping Angel gets 11, not above 13. The Dalek, Special Weapons Dalek, manages to find it first and obliterate it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Just boom.
Probably brings down a bit of Castle Paladin on top of it, but, it can survive that.
Rest ye merry gentlemen, haroon,
Right.
haroon,
So I
haroon.
think really the Weeping Angel's unlucky to go out in the quarterfinals because that is one of the more powerful characters, but I think really the Special Weapons Dalek's one of the few characters that could really go toe-to-toe with it.
It's a good thing you said only blink, because fucking Angels Take Manhattan says they can infect other statues or whatever.
Yeah, well, look, we're not getting
There's
into all
bloody
that stuff.
Village of the Angels. There's bloody Village of the Angels that has all that speaking into people's minds shit and actually.
Yeah, I mean, Moffat was one for power creep. His characters would just get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And the fucking Village of the Angels, like they work in a call center for the division or something.
Yeah, and they can, they're bloody they're conscious while people are looking at them. So it really makes their weakness kind of invalid.
Yeah. Right. So what's in the semi-finals?
Dylan has the list.
Well, Kroll is in the semi-finals.
Just so sad that we lost the Quark. Can we have a moment of silence for the Quark?
I'll give the Quark.
Kroll, K1,
I'm still
and
laughing at the Ogron kicking
Kroll.
the fucking goalpost.
Yeah, it looks like it's Kroll, K1, Axos, and the Special Weapons Dalek. Have I missed anyone?
Special Weapons Dalek's going to be interesting. I think it could take out the squid. What's Kroll?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big gun.
Yeah, I think that gun's going to take out a monster it can't miss. Especially if it's like a squishy thing like a cephalopod. Depends how big Kroll is. I'm going to have to look at a picture of that.
It's quite big. It's
a
a kaiju.
It's a bloody
It's like
kaiju.
the size. Yeah, there's some scenery of it like taking up not like a whole horizon, but like there's characters in the foreground and then looking at it in the distance, and it's pretty ominous and towering looking.
So we're into the final stretch now, the semi-finals. So we have Kroll versus Axos, and that's quite a matchup.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at what we're going to get.
Squid.
So they are going to be at Unit HQ. That's quite an interesting variable.
Which Unit HQ?
Just like a generic third Doctor one. Like, let's say the one from the Three Doctors or Planet of the Spiders, something like that.
Yeah, that's the go-to unit HQ.
Alright, so Kroll has forewarning of the battle. And so does Axos. So they both know it's going to happen, so they've both got time to prepare for it.
I think Axos would probably prepare better than Kroll.
Yeah, a Gestalt
Axos is more
powerful... A powerful Gestalt gaslighting entity. It could gaslight the unit soldiers. And then versus Kroll, which could probably like wriggle its tentacles into the building.
Yeah, but I think the difference is that Axos could reason with unit, whereas Kroll couldn't. So Axos could say, like, I know that, you fought me before. I'm not here to feast on your planet. There's a creature here. You don't want him here either.
Big squid.
Like, let's team up, and then we'll sod off as soon as it's done.
Not here to feed on your planet. I've been put here by a strange YouTube experiment.
A YouTuber has put me here. Like, just let's just get it over with.
Yeah, Axos can detach itself into humanoid forms that can converse and shit, and can gaslight.
Well, I think also that Axos could probably send some, like, kind of maybe make some kind of weird flying version of itself to, like, put Axonite inside of Kroll, just, like, kind of spit it in it, and then it can slowly drain its power while the unit soldiers are shooting it.
And it's also a tsunami.
See, I just assumed that, given that this would be a third Doctor unit base, that Axos would make a gold version of the third Doctor, speak to the Brigadier, and just say, "You think a creature like that would be able to tell the difference between me and you?"
Well, I think it's fair to assume that Axos is able to convince the unit soldiers that, look, this thing is a more immediate threat, like the giant squid.
Yeah, it doesn't
communicate.
the power of break.
Yeah, Axos has the power of gaslightery on its side, whereas Kroll is just too bluntly just destroy.
Axos just gaslight anyone into thinking that Kroll is trying to steal their curry or whatever.
You could give Kroll a full briefing. It's not going to prepare shit.
Yeah, I think Axos wins. I think it's able to convince the unit to join its side. It slowly drains energy from Kroll, and as a result, Kroll isn't able to fight back effectively at unit, and they collaboratively destroy it.
The only thing I can think of is Kroll is canonically a piece of the key to time, but then again, Axos could drain that, so who cares?
Yeah, well, I think it would be an epic battle. Like, it would be amazing to watch, with, like, kind of weird Axon soldiers fighting alongside unit soldiers with, like, laser guns and bazookas against this giant squid, but ultimately,
I want to see something like this with like 1930s King Kong vibes to it. I want to see this.
It makes for a great sixth party.
Yeah, like, you know that YouTube channel, Death Battle, that does those, like, death battles between people? It would make a great animated one of them. It would be awesome.
Just do like a 1930s stop-motion style thing like the old King Kong movie.
It'd be perfect.
What is Kroll's ability to hurt Axos? Can it like crush it physically and stuff like that?
It could try.
Axos.
I mean, Axos can just detach the part of itself that was crushed, though, is the only thing. Like, it's kind of like the thing in that.
Is it like something with internal structures that can be damaged?
That was hilarious.
Well, it's a Gestalt entity, so if you take off
like
part
a bush
of
to
it...
me.
Yeah, if you take off part of it, then all that means is it loses energy.
A girl boss Moffat character.
You'd probably be able... I think it's very plausible it could get unit on its side, so it probably wouldn't even be in the initial conflict itself.
Yeah,
the unit would go for it.
Yeah, well,
I think just use the power of racism.
Axos has. I think Axos could have the edge.
I was just filling in Hugh on all this.
Yeah, right. Axos wins. I mean, Kroll was always the favourite coming into this, but I think Axos just with the greater intelligence. Like, I think that's the first time intelligence has really come to play against Kroll, and I think that's why.
It makes good use of preparation as well, unlike Kroll.
He's most likely.
Special weapons Dalek versus the K1 robot.
Amelia
Special weapons Dalek. Special weapons Dalek. Unless it gets disarmed.
Special weapons Dalek.
Right, so they're in the war zone. So that's the planet from the war games. Now, if it's like 1 to 10, the K1 robot gets to choose the war zone. And if it's 11 to 20, then the special weapons Dalek gets to choose the war zone. Alright, the special weapons Dalek gets to choose the war zone. Where do we think the special weapons Dalek would choose?
Probably wouldn't want trenches.
Probably sound like Kemel.
Probably the most.
Kemel,
the most technologically advanced one.
Yeah, but it's got to be on the war zone. Like,
it would want something with like long range of sight.
Yeah, maybe
So
the Roman zone.
Not the Misty Western Front or anything like that.
Actually, I think it would just go. Does the central Warlord?
No. That's a separate one. It has to be a war zone.
Which one of the zones is most reminiscent of Skaro? Because it might choose something like that. Something like
it would that would be the Western Front zone, but that would be a disadvantage to the Dalek, so it wouldn't do that. Yeah,
I think probably the Roman zone would be the one it would go for.
Just flatlands, just
special weapons Dalek can fly, so I don't think that the trenches would really make much of a difference.
Yeah, but the mist would affect its line of sight.
Yeah,
mist is only at the edges, though. Yeah, the mist is only like the edge of each war zone.
Yeah, but it is no man's land as well. You've got gas
then, like,
and
it
smoke.
knows it's fighting a big robot, so maybe it would choose that because the K1 robot would be more likely to get stuck in mud, whereas the special weapons Dalek can fly.
I think the main consideration for the special weapons Dalek would just be long range of sight, hit it with a big gun from far away.
Yeah, but then K1 robot also has a big gun that has range.
Amelia Wade said why about the app.
But it's a more powerful gun capable of destroying 2 Daleks at once.
I don't know how much it would care about the K1 getting stuck because it's slow and cumbersome anyway.
Yeah.
It would just want to be able. It would just want.
Okay, so it would decide between Roman Zone and First World War Zone. So hands up for Roman Zone. Right, Roman Zone it is. It's in the Roman Zone. So
I was opting for.
I think they've got fairly equivalent weapons. I'd maybe say the special weapons Dalek one is more powerful and has greater range.
That's got to be surely. But how powerful is this K1? And why is it so powerful?
It's a big, well-armored robot with a really good disintegrator gun.
They're both pretty powerful because the special weapons Dalek can destroy other Daleks like into dust, and the K1 robot can obliterate a tank. So I think they're pretty evenly matched.
I feel like the special weapons Dalek is slightly less cumbersome because the K1 robot is designed to walk like a human, which I think really disadvantages it. Whereas
probably also doesn't aim
is designed more to move like a machine. So
I just feel like the special weapons Dalek gun is just more likely to make a bigger boom.
Dylan, in the story, does the K1 robot like not shoot things that are too far away?
It manages to shoot a tank from about mid-distance and destroy it completely.
I'd imagine I don't know this for sure, but I'd imagine the special weapons Dalek has got some range on it.
Yo, yeah, definitely. I mean, its bolt is so explosive. As long as it can get the accuracy, it'd be fine.
Not that's going to make a difference, but
takes out 2 Daleks at once.
Not that's going to make a difference, but will the Roman zone have just Romans gallivanting around?
Yes,
it doesn't really make a difference.
They're probably going to run away.
It has Emperor Nero chasing Barbara.
So that's another thing. The Western Front zone, if we had gone for it, like the artillery and stuff would have been an issue for both of them. They probably would have avoided it.
I think this has to come down to a role of who gets the shot on who. I think the special weapons Dalek has the advantage in this because it is less cumbersome, but not by.
And it's got range.
So I'd say rolls 1 to 14 as for special weapons Dalek, and anything above that, the K1 manages to get the shot in first.
I don't think the K1 would get the shot in. I think the range difference is a big factor. I don't think there's a situation where the K1 would be able to get the special weapons Dalek.
I mean, we haven't seen either weapon be fired from long range before, so it's kind of difficult to tell.
Guns look like fairly different beasts.
That's true.
Special Weapons
What's
Dalek
the
only
only
really
advantage they
in the
get?
classic series. It only really had the one scene, and the only other time
Would you agree, though, Tom, that the K1 robot has at least a 25% chance of victory?
That's if the Special Weapons Dalek really fucks up, and in a flat like
really,
an
you
open
think
zone
it's
like the
that
Roman
stacked
one.
against it?
No, I think the situation is in like an open zone like the Roman one with fields and stuff. They would be able to see each other before they fired, and I think it is we don't know this for sure, but the Special Weapons Dalek looks like it has like the bigger, further firing weapon. In which case, it would just naturally get the shot off first.
Okay, you know what, Tom? You've convinced me. I actually agree that it looks like a much more long range weapon. It's a much faster weapon as well. The disintegrator gun takes a while to work.
It is a
Yeah,
big
I agree.
gun.
Yeah, and there's not much prospect of like sharp corners and lines of sight where the K1 would get.
I think it just the greater range probably does it for the Special Weapons Dalek. Actually, I'm just willing to not even do a roll unless anybody wants to overrule that.
Yeah, I agree.
Not really. I think
Dalek
a Special Weapons Dalek has this.
Big gun go boom.
Plus, Special Weapons Dalek is designed for like war zones and shit, whereas the K1 robot is just it is
an experimental robot.
It's not designed for war. It's
okay.
Yeah.
So our final for today is Axos versus the Special Weapons Dalek. That's a very interesting matchup.
Hey. Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of the real favourites were unlucky to end up on the same side of the brackets.
Yeah, the Quark was very unfortunate.
Alright, so they are going to be in the Highlands. So they're fighting in the Highlands.
In Scotland!
So Jamie's going to be there just slack-jawed, like, oh, hi!
Axos has an ally.
Will Axos supposed to give us his word?
Axos has an amalgamation of all girl boss Muffat women as an ally. And the Special Weapons Dalek...
Listen up, gents.
Is armed with a DMAT gun. So let's just say it's regular gun. Oh, sorry about the sirens. The regular gun is replaced by a DMAT gun.
Yeah, the Special Weapons Dalek wins.
Let me get this straight. Axos is a master gaslighter, and the Moffat woman is just a girl boss, so it has the
They just get caught in an argument. It's basically a distracted by woman.
Yeah, can the power of gaslight the girl boss overcome the DMAT gun?
If Moffat was writing it, she would, but alas, she's not
here.
The
thing is, I don't think the Moffat woman does an awful lot. I think it's just... go on, Zach.
Sorry. It's just thought of something seriously. Because I just thought that Axos could possibly gaslight the Special Weapons Dalek into destroying itself, like how the Seventh Doctor did it to the Supreme Dalek in Remembrance.
No. Because the thing about Axos,
I think the girl boss would certainly make it want to kill itself
in that way. It's not a master manipulator in that way. It's more of a case like it bears false gifts. It's like a Trojan horse type manipulator, not like a kind of emotional manipulator. So like. Its modus operandi is we offer this amazing gift to these people, and the gift is actually what we use to drain their planet.
Dylan, what's the date in the Highlands? Is it modern Highlands?
Right, let's roll a dice to find out the century.
Yeah.
It's in the 16th century, so the 1500s.
Yeah, the allies are not very useful against the Dalek, I don't think. So the manipulation aspect is...
the allies get kidnapped.
Yeah,
see, my only counterpoint to the DMAT gun would be the Moffat girl boss has plot armor.
But we've also got to remember that the DMAT gun can only fire in one direction at a time, and if Axos unleashes lots of itself around it, it might be because we know that the Axos kind of creatures can cause explosions. It might be enough.
There's lots.
The Special Weapons Dalek.
If there's lots of them and the DMAT gun is very slow firing, are we in a situation here where the DMAT gun has actually turned into a disadvantage?
Yeah, I think it is, because it's wide open countryside, very hilly. There's plenty of places that the Axos creatures can kind of come from and kind of use subterfuge. And remember, because they're all one Gestalt entity, they can perfectly coordinate themselves.
Yeah, but surely if they're all one entity, if it hits one with the DMAT gun, it's over.
It would hurt it.
Well, no,
it just drains energy.
Thank you very much.
Does the DMAC gun replace its regular weapon, or can it use both
Yes, it
simultaneously?
replaces the regular
Okay.
weapon. That's what we decided.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think Axos probably wins because I think it will the special weapons art will probably take a lot of Axos with it, but ultimately Axos has enough energy to surround it using its coordination and eventually get enough hits in to kill it.
Honestly,
Especially in the wide open space.
It wasn't for how slow the DMAC gun is. I think I would give it to the special weapons Dalek, just in an fairly open environment, just shooting one bit after another. But if it's that slow firing, yeah, maybe it would get overwhelmed.
Would have to get the most insanely lucky shot, which is like 1 in a million, I think. Okay, not 1 in a million, but it'd be
it'd need to hit Axos, which Axos itself will probably hang back and send out creatures to defend it.
Yeah, it wouldn't put itself in range.
Yeah, it'll just use its creatures, which are part of its energy, but I think the DMAC gun would only dematerialize a bit of it at a time, like each individual bit.
Fast is this DMAC gun firing?
Well, you're shooting it just like a big, and then yeah, I think you need to then kind of readjust and re-aim it. I mean, when it's fired in a closed space, it literally knocks the user out. So it's got quite a recoil.
Does the DMAC gun only work on beings?
It can just dematerialize anything from the universe.
So what if it shoots downwards onto the Highlands and just annihilates Earth? Would that change anything?
I feel
just get rid of a bit of the Earth beneath it and put it in a trench, which makes it even more vulnerable.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Axos wins this, and I think Axos has got really lucky here because all of the big god ones were kind of on one side, and on the other side, Special Weapons Dalek's been quite lucky to get this far, despite how good it is.
I think the Special Weapons Dalek, if it had its normal gun, I probably would have been defending it a bit more.
I still think the DMAC gun, if it gets one hit on Axos, it's game over.
Yeah, but Axos is not going anywhere near that thing. It has the potential to attack the Dalek without.
I think what Kian's saying is that he thinks that if it shot one bit of Axos because it's a Gestalt, all of it would go. Whereas I disagree.
I think it.
Well, we need to.
I think it does just lose.
So what if the Special Weapons Dalek flew to Axos? Because Axos itself can actually fly, but can any of the bits it sends off, can they fly? Can regular Axons fly?
Well, it can. The thing is, it can make things out of itself. Because think about it. Before Earth, it hadn't came across humans, so it made things that look like humans fresh. So it can make things, whatever mode it wants.
So it could just make an Axon Dalek.
Well, you can just make a flying Axon. You could just make a squad of flying Axons, and it would be enough to eventually take it down. Maybe a few of them would die, but they'd eventually get it.
It's not just lumbering at it over the heath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happens. I think Special Daleks, it puts up a really good fight, but ultimately I think numbers tell that Axos just has way more energy than the Special Weapons Daleks. Yeah, use that with advantage.
You've convinced me on that.
It's a spaceship-sized Gestalt versus a lone soldier, basically.
Yeah, a good showing from our cosmic fascist tank.
The next Death Zone, you should have Moffat plot armor as a benefit.
Oh, Moffat plot! Oh no, that would be an excellent one.
It would be powerful. It would be terrible.
But in that case, everybody
Chibnall plot armor. That's what I meant. Yeah, you should have Chibnall plot armor as a benefit.
No, have as a disadvantage. Just watched a Chibnall episode, and the monster's oh.
Well, Diane, sorry.
Chibnall writing is a disadvantage.
Mr. Diane is socially awkward.
And anything intelligent you come up with.
Oh my god, yes.
It does not do.
What Zach said, a disadvantage for the next game should be is socially awkward.
Sorry.
Well, actually.
Sorry, Axos. I'm too socially awkward.
To be honest, Maddox, I'm really up for the idea of the Chibnall writing one. If you've got Chibnall writing, then anything smart you come up with that it could do, it doesn't do.
Yeah.
Just something really contrived
kinda.
happens instead, like it slips on a banana peel, and that's the end of the episode.
Or by the way, half the universe is dead, but whatever.
Yeah, just forget that happened. That wasn't important.
Yeah.
We don't need
Yeah.
half the universe.
Who cares about what happened to the flux? It's not important.
Anyway, I think now the
we're
fact
still
that
flying
we're
half the
A,
universe.
3 hours in, and B have started talking about the Chibnall era, that's time to end it. So, congratulations to Axos on its victory. I think there were some really good battles in there. There's some really hilarious battles. Big shout out to Lord Axir, who, in a Chibnall-esque way, was zapped by a Weeping Angel to the Celestial Toy Room and just onto the floor and died.
I'm going
The
to
iconic-
complain.
Shout out to the special weapons Dalek for me, my boy.
I'm going to complain
Shout out to the
Cosmo
security
to get
chief.
the Quarks.
The squad
To
of
get the
soldiers.
Quarks lost
Pretty
of the
Chief,
boat.
I'm very partial
Shout
to as well.
Shout out to the legend Cyber Controller who died eating curry. He just died the way he lived. Like, what a lad.
Leaking curry from the eyes.
Leaking curry from the eyes.
And he just turned back into the Vindaloo monster from Red Dwarf.
Alright, thank you very much all for watching, and thank you very much all of you for coming on. Alright.
pleasure.
Friendship
all.
fallouts this time.
Yeah, no friendship fallout.